Yes, we are back again with another Blue Morning show. So I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, Blue Morning because it is indeed the Blue Morning show. I hope you're all doing well. Today, again, as usual, we have quite a few things to talk about. We will talk about why Romelu Lukaku may not go back to Italy, why he may remain at Chelsea. We'll talk about the Jules Kounde injury. We'll talk about Tottenham's business in the transfers, so to speak, and the rumors that they've agreed terms to sign Yves Bissouma. I know it's not really a blue morning for Chelsea fans, and we will get into that today. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Big up, Ty. How are you doing, brother?
Um, I have to just laugh.
Welcome back to the Blue Morning Show. But like I said, it's not really a blue morning for Chelsea fans around the world. Probably a lot of us will be pissed for obvious reasons. We talked about Bissouma. Again, what really would have been had we been able to sign him? But you never say never. It's not over yet until I see him holding the Tottenham shirt. Or has he done that already? If he's done that already, let me know.
Mm,
You're not sure?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but that's why I say it's not over until it's over. Just like you say on a game day when there's a match, football match going on, it's not over until the referee blows the final whistle. But in this case, I'd say it's not over until we see him holding Tottenham shirt because it came out a few days ago or around a week ago that we were looking at him. And given that he has Premier League experience, how quick he is, how good he's on the ball, his ability to dribble his way out of tight spaces, I thought we were really gonna go for him, but unfortunately, we did not do that. We haven't done so. Let me just phrase it that way, because the truth remains that's a chance. That's a chance we'd still get him. Never say never. We'll see what happens. But here's it. I'll come back to it in a bit. Let me just quickly catch up with what we have in the chat here. Then I'll come back. We'll talk about it. And here, this is phantom of many topics. Nice to see you here, my brother. Blue morning to you. He says, Bissouma to Tottenham. Brighton agrees to 25 million transfer. How did Todd Murray let this happen? Source of football terrorists, Terry, not just football terrorists, even, what's his name? The Here We Go guy. What's his name again? Fabrizio Romano. And here we have, again, says, Gitonga David said, honestly, Bissouma goes for 25 million. I will be gutted. I cannot imagine Chelsea will go for Rice. No, Chelsea will most. I think the Rice is their
It's their
preference.
first choice.
Why? Yeah, that's their first choice, and I
That's
don't
just why
think.
they didn't go for Bizuma. The way that they're looking at it is that they were gonna go for Rice if West Ham did not, if they still did not want to allow them to
Mm,
get him, Bizuma would be the choice as well as Sangari. That is
mm,
unfortunate for a lot of people. It's not something that a lot of people agree with, but Declan Rice was their first choice, and that is why, players like Kamara, players like, even though we had in restrictions, so we couldn't even go in for Kamara per se, but last season we
mm.
could have done that. You have Sangari, there's a lot of players out there. You have Grafenberg, you have players that you could have challenged, but restrictions as well as priorities are the reasons why we're going to see a lot of these midfielders go elsewhere because the priorities are set in a certain way for the midfield. And, you have this thing called all or nothing, or,
Mm-hmm.
But the way I see it is that it's Declan Rice or nothing, and it premieres September 1, 2022. So get your popcorn, get your tickets, and let's prepare, because that's basically the priority right now. Tuchel sees Rice as the preferred choice for what he wants to do in the midfield.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people don't agree with it, but that's what Tuchel thinks, and I don't really think we can change his mind if he's so persistent, or he's willing to see the club spend that much for him. So I don't know, but I think people should just look at it as a way that we're gonna see a lot of these players going elsewhere,
Hmm.
and then we're probably gonna say, why didn't we do this? Just know that it's because the club believe that the priority should be Rice in terms of the midfield. And if unless somebody, or at least Kanté or Jorginho both want to leave, they won't push for anybody else, because they're willing to keep Kanté and sell Jorginho. That's the pattern.
Yeah, yeah. Again, here's what I want to say here. Again, some will say Tuchel won him. I doubt that's the case. Again, that's me. That's me. But given the recent reports that he's been given, the upper hand, to be the main man in charge of all the transfer in terms of picking who he wants to join the club. Maybe that's truth. But if that's the truth, again, I have my reservations. Even if signing Declan Rice, gives some Chelsea fans, will be orgasmic for some Chelsea fans. To me, it's not. Give me Bissouma. And it just sounds like I should just call him Beans because his name starts with B. I prefer Beans to Rice this time. More protein. The guy is more agile. He's quicker. He's better on the ball. And I think he'd give us more. You could say, given Kante's, you could say decline if you want to. I think he'd be the perfect replacement for N'Golo Kante. I don't think we're lacking leadership in that midfield area, but that's by the way. Again, it's looking more likely that that's the case, that he may well go to Sports. But I'm going to try and catch up with the chat and come back to panel. Phantom, how you doing, brother? Quickly before I continue.
Yeah, I'm actually driving. If I get caught, it's an $800 fine. But
so just go out. Join when you get home, brother. You have the link. Be safe first.
Yeah. Okay. I'll come back much later, like near your closing, like around
no
6
problem,
o'clock.
No problem. You have the link, brother.
Because I'm going to the casino right now, so I just didn't want to Okay, so I'll see you around maybe 6. Okay.
All right, no problem, bro. All right. Yeah, so again, I'm going to catch up with what we have there. It says, honestly, I think I've read that one here. And let me see what we have here. And Mo says Marina has blood on her hands. I am sick of our fans backing her. Our midfield is finished with Kante, Jorginho. We should have upgraded last year. Instead, she got a Saúl Ñíguez instead of Tchouaméni. Here, I'm going to say this again.
That's not true,
Please
man.
stop blaming Marina for what's not her fault. Again, you are entitled to your opinion. I'm all for that. But let me educate you a bit. Marina is just a negotiator. She's in no way, she's not a scout. She's not the one that points at the players that we're going to sign. All her job is, okay, we want that player, negotiate. Or this player's contract is due for renewal, negotiate with the camp. So please just understand that more. I think by now you should know that yourself. Says Conte knows what he wants, and he's doing the most early. Again, he's doing it. We don't know what's going on in our camp. Again, is this annoying? It's annoying, but that doesn't mean I don't trust. But that doesn't mean I don't trust that that Chelsea are doing good business. I think they are doing good business. Believe me. But this is one of business I would have loved us to do. Like I argued, maybe signing Rice will be orgasmic for most Chelsea fans. To me, it wouldn't be. I prefer Bissouma anytime, any day. Is Rice a good player? He is. For me, from what I've seen, I don't think he's the better option for us. But let's see if we end up signing him. And the irony is that I'm seeing most Chelsea fans that are actually calling for the club to sign Rice instead. Now, most of them are pissed. Most of them are not happy that Bissouma will be going to Tottenham if they complete the signing. Blue Morning Coach and everyone are joining the panel in chat. Lemley, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I get that. Sorry. It's not Marina's fault again. Todd Bawley, not giving us a good impression at the
need to
moment.
relax.
I wouldn't say
Relax.
that right now. It's too soon. Again, that's a chance. The club never wanted to sign Bissouma. If we were serious about him, we'd be hearing that Chelsea put in a bid, Tottenham put in a bid, or maybe, and it just seems as if West Ham, before reducing the price of Rice, found out that Bissouma is actually an excellent alternative for us. That if the West Ham would go for Bissouma, so they reduced the price, and now we're probably focused on getting Rice, but I'm not sure. I'm really fired up. Let's see what happens. 25 million is bargain. It's bargain for Bissouma, given how good he is. That's a slap on our face. Yeah,
And
given that he's going to Tottenham.
And that was less than Brighton was quoting for him too.
Yeah.
They were quoting 40, 50 million for him, so they got a bargain completely.
Saying no way Lukaku staying either. We'll talk about why that's a possibility. If that fact passes, I will be every morning filming. Yeah, again, let me see quickly. I don't know more than you all. I can go on. Is there no reports of us being interested in him as in putting a bid? I think the report is where that Bissouma and what's his name and Sangare were option. That is, if Rice, if Chelsea don't see the possibility of signing Rice, they'd go for either Sangare or Bissouma. So he was never the first choice. He was just added to the list. Again, we'll see what happens. But we've had no excuses. But we have no excuses if we miss out on Sangare. I guess it's Rice we're going for. Liam, Matt Law tweeted like a few weeks ago about Bissouma as an option. Now, he didn't say he was a first choice. And for me, we're all the same. Yes, exactly. If we get to TT wasn't once it isn't that all that matters. Yeah, if he wants Rice instead of Bissouma, again, I'd support him. Let's see if that works. But I still doubt if that's the case. There's no way to tell if that maybe the club just wanted him because he was a Chelsea, product. Again, let me see. But they let him leave earlier. You can.
I really don't know because remember, this is kind of looking back into the past. But let's remember, Lampard could never stop talking about Rice, and it was one of the fallouts that happened that really helped with him getting sacked. In terms of everything. If rumors are to be believed, because he was angry with Marino because he didn't get Rice in, and things like that, and then things the relationship started to go sour and everything. So now I am not really sure if it's a case where the club wanted him per se, unless it's a case where they look at him and they say, you know what, maybe Lampard had a point. I think it's probably that Tuchel has seen him play against Chelsea while he has been the manager, noticed that he sees a good midfielder in him, and he's willing to say that, this player, he understands English football, even though sometimes I think that really is overrated in a sense, because we've signed a lot of players who had English league experience, and at the end of the day they never worked out. Barkley, you have Barkley and Drinkwater, two examples you can use, especially in the midfield. Yes, it's a different role, but I really think that it's a case where Tuchel saw something good in Rice. He's saying that, this player, he's not feasible for 150 million. He agreed not to spend it, and this summer he's deciding to do that. But right now, I just feel like in the midfield there is interest, and people need to understand that even though the club is linked with these players, it doesn't mean that they're going to get them. And it doesn't mean that they're not interested in or they're not willing to bring them in. It's just that when you have your first choice, your first choice, it can be a second choice. So, I mean, in that sense, you need to understand that even though it's a case where, Bissouma was cheaper, Tuchel saw another player who he thought was probably more feasible for his team. And, he said, what, the price isn't the most ideal thing, but he wants him in. And the thing is, Bissouma is 3 times less, according to that. And that's euros. That's 15 million at least. Sure.
Yeah, again, it really sucks. But again, There are arguments that Tuchel prefers Rice. We'll find out later if that's the case. Says Chelsea has to be doing something better. We don't know in the background because 25 million for Bissouma is it's an absolute still. Put the word absolute there. Spurs just upgraded their midfield to another level. They will be a problem. They will be contesting and they may well win it. That's the thing. Maybe after that first one, then they struggle the following years. But when you give Conte what he wants, believe me, he's capable of doing the undoable, at least domestically. In terms of Europe, I'm not sure what he's able to do. But this is a good signing for them. He's more mobile than Declan Rice. This is not me hating on Declan Rice. He's quicker than Declan Rice. He's better on the ball than Declan Rice. He's able to dribble this way from tight spaces.
He has a good shot on him.
And he's got a good shot on him. So again, I'm just saying, even if we wanted, even if we're interested in Rice, Bissouma would have been a good addition to the team because he's able to fulfill the Mateo Kovacic role. It's that simple. Why have we made this mistake? I don't know. I hope it's, again, like I said, never say never. That's a chance we'll still get him because until he holds the Tottenham shirt and, taking pictures and all that, then I wouldn't say it's over yet. But that's, by the way, let me just try and catch up with the chat and bring in the panel on this one. Limitless, no cap, 25 mil is a slap on our face. It is indeed. And Liam Lynn says, if we get who I am thinking we're after, I will be happy. So I will wait and see how it goes before I judge. If we are after a higher grade of player, it's going to take longer to get them. Can you be specific? Liam, I love you, but I'd like you to be specific here. Let's see who you're calling a higher grade of player over Bissouma. Come to think about it, I would say he better than Rice, in my opinion. Yeah, in my opinion, I said that too, and I've given reasons why I think so. Limitless, he will be the problem. No matter who we get, we'll prefer others. So again, here's my argument: we could have still have Bissouma in the team and still have Rice because he's a different caliber of player from Rice. That's just as simple as it is. I'm going to come back to the panel and let me bring in Fahim. Fahim, I knew you streamed earlier today.
Yeah, I streamed earlier.
Yeah, sorry I missed it. It was a busy day for me yesterday, so I had to slip in now to wake up 3 a.m. for this particular show. I hope you understand, brother. I was actually thinking I was going to be able to make it, but I couldn't. This actually started around 5 minutes late or so. Your thoughts? Tell me how happy you are. Yeah, let me just phrase it like that.
I know a lot of us fans are not happy with the situation. I rather take the calm approach. I'd rather just let us not be reactionary just yet. I understand, yes, we are missing quite a few opportunities in buying players like Bissouma, Perisic, like these sort of players, but we still got time. I've accepted that our transfer window won't be as big as everyone is expecting it to be. Whether it will be, I don't know. Like we still don't know we still don't know.
Even after hearing Peter Cech's comments.
Sorry.
Even after hearing Peter Cech's comments, you still think it's not going to be big?
Yeah, because we need to address so many positions. It's not just the defense. We need to sort out pretty much every section of the field: defense, midfield, attack. Lukaku situation has literally made things a lot tougher. The goalkeeping position, Kepa, what are we going to do with that? Defense, we lost a lot. We lost like 2 starters, Rudiger and Christensen, and we could lose more with Alonso. Midfield, Jorginho looks like he might be leaving this summer. Chelsea are looking at selling him this summer. So we've got a lot of things to address, and I honestly don't think we are addressing it this summer. That's why I've accepted that it's not going to be the summer window that a lot of us Chelsea fans expect it to be. Like we're going to spend big in this transfer window. We are missing opportunities. The ownership takeover, all this process has really delayed our transfer plans this summer. So it's not entirely on the new owners. The fact that we're missing out these deals, because look, it's a huge thing. When you're buying a club, it's a huge thing. You need to sort out a lot of things, right? So that's why that's one of the reasons why I've accepted that this summer is not going to be a huge one. So like I said, I think we should ease our expectations for next season. We're not going to challenge the league. We're fighting for top 4. Let's be real. Spurs, I don't think they'll be fighting for the title. They might do it at the start, but they'll probably
You're just consoling yourself, really.
Sorry?
You're just consoling yourself. You're just in denial by saying you don't think they'll be fighting for the title.
You know why, Coach?
Yeah, tell me why.
I did the same mistake last season. We bought Lukaku. I think we all got excited the fact that we signed Lukaku. We got a good team, but in reality, it wasn't really that great. It wasn't that great. So I've learned my lesson. That's all I can say.
I'm really annoyed here.
I'm not gonna expect too much.
Yeah. I get your argument, but we'll see. I think a lot of Chelsea fans will be really pissed. I know you're not happy too, but believe me, bro, I love you, but the truth is you're in denial. That's why you're consoling yourself by saying you don't think Tottenham are gonna challenge. They will be out there, believe me. Yeah. But in the grander scheme of things, essentially, let me say, games are played on the field, not on paper. So I will see how our team is when the season starts. I trust them. That Bissouma will potentially be going to Spurs doesn't mean our team is not going to be okay. We'll be okay. There's a chance we may well get Sangari, who's also an equally good player. But over Sangari, I'd prefer Bissouma. And again, like I said before, yeah, getting Rice is nice, even if we want him. But we could still have Bissouma in our team and also Rice. It's that simple. I don't know what else to say to this. At a good price too, yeah, exactly. It says limitless. That's exactly my. Yeah. The Chelsea fans are too noisy, scouting players for all the clubs to buy easily. Bissouma is far better and cheaper than Rice. Again, but the fact that Declan came from their academy, they prefer Rice. Again, that's the case with most people. Again, let me see here. Yes, and in the fan base will always disagree on players. It's natural. It happens. People preferences differ for each individual you speak with. But again, I don't think I don't even see Bissouma as an alternative for Rice. I see that we can have both if we want. Having both makes our team better.
They're two different roles, so it's very easy. It's very easy to have both of them because they have two different roles. One is a box to box, and one is what we call is a ball winning midfielder. So it's two different roles. So they won't be competing with each other. They'll be probably playing together.
Yeah, and with that, I want to say big up to the Queen of All Streams. Nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well. Come on, Chelsea. Get the boots tied and do something in the transfer market, and let's see it. Good morning, Coachila. Good morning to you, Gitonga David. I hope you're doing well. I hope things are fine at your end. We need to get a Denzel Koulibaly, Kounde, Rice, Dembele, Lewandowski, Nkunku. Then I will be gassed. Yeah, add to the list. I don't think that's enough. Add 5 more players to it. Morning, boss in chat. I hope you're all doing well brilliantly. Queen, I hope you're doing well too. It's been a minute. I hope things are well at your end. Lukaku not staying. We'll talk about that later. Just our luck. Kounde hurt. Yeah, that's another scary situation. But from what we're hearing, the club knew all this while that he was nursing. He had that injury. So, but we'll see what happens. And morning to my brother here who's already on the panel. And again, apologies for missing the show. I had to get some sleep. And I oversleep. I thought that I didn't expect to miss it, but it happened anyway. Believe me now, if Lukaku stays, I would be angry. No, I will celebrate it, you think? You think I'll be angry? Lukaku cannot ever play for us again. But sorry, the situation is looking, I don't know how to phrase it. You can say it's not easy. It's a complicated situation that he may well remain at the club. Inter is going for Dybala, apparently. It will be the most
difficult transfer in the history of football because what he's done, it's worse than what Kurtzwa did to us.
Yeah, and here, let me read this again. And the Queen says every bloody Tottenham are beating us. Yeah, even so to speak. Yeah, he's we might not have any choice. Again, let's see what happens. I'm still hopeful, but it's just that I'm not happy. I'm not happy that we're missing out on Bissouma. Let me agree. Again, let me see anything. Would never say that CFC for him. Spurs. He says Spurs have got a better squad than us. Let's be honest. Right now, I think they are, truthfully, because they've made some good signings. We haven't. But I think we'll get better too.
They've always had a better attack than us.
Yeah, exactly. So they probably still have better attack than us. But we after our business, we see what happened. Yes, that's the only hope right now. Behind closed doors. Behind closed doors, that's what we're hoping, because we're known to do that.
Imagine we sign a midfielder that no one expects.
Yeah, there's a chance. Let's see what happens. And again, it says it's the owner that decides, babe. Again, yep, not Marina. Blue morning to you, Coachila and the partner. Blue morning to you, Queen of the House. And again, blue morning to Queen of all streams. I'm happy to see you both here because it's going to be a busy day. Big up, chat. Big up to you too, Deals, CFC. Good morning and blue morning to you all. Again, I'm going to move to the very bottom so that I'll start catching up with everybody's input. It has been, as usual, all the clubs will be serious building their team. Liverpool and Man City were better than Chelsea last season. This season, again, I wouldn't say that at this point. I'd be patient to see what happens. Again, I'm going to skip quite a lot of comments, get to the bottom, and then I'll be reading everybody's comments. Again, thank you very much, Queen, for the super sticker donation. Better defined, but again, you don't have to do that. I prefer your support most importantly, and thank you for the love anyway. I sincerely do appreciate that. Says 27 watching, 19 likes. Now we have 70 people watching, so we should do better than the likes. I don't want to open the video on my screen because it will freeze my screen. I don't know why that happens. Seriously, here we go again. Tuchel has a free hand. Yep, and again, people are still saying it's Marina's fault. Yeah, again, Tremendous first full season at Monaco. Maybe Bissouma may not be Tuchel's choice. There's a chance that's the case, but I'd be surprised if it is, because it feels like Bissouma will be a better fit for his system, and we can still actually have them both in the team. That's just, it's as simple as that, because Bissouma can actually, he can actually fulfill Mateo Kovacic's role. But that's, by the way, stop believing media speculation. Chelsea gets clicks. Yep, again, that you could argue that, but the truth is, Bissouma going, if he eventually goes to Spurs, I'm not going to be happy, because we can, even if we get Rice, we can actually have them both. It's as simple as that. Chelsea is a big club. If any scout is not working well, sack him. I'm not complaining to anyone. I'm just saying I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to skip quite a few to be all caught up with all the comments in the chat. Then we'll be taking it one by one from there. And sorry, I'll skip quite a lot of them. Cucurella, Tremendous, Bissouma, we've missed out on next. It's annoying, Coach. We were all complaining about the haters, complaining about the lack of signings, but now I am on their side. This is ridiculous. Why aren't we getting things done? I don't really know. Some people will say they don't, because Bissouma, to them, they don't want him. They prefer getting Rice instead of Bissouma. But I say we can actually have them both. And the Queen of our stream says, let's relax and see. Could say it's going to be an amazing window for us, I still believe. But I'd be better off had we signed Bissouma. Bissouma for 25 million is an absolute steal, no matter how you see it. I told people that Conte and Spurs getting fourth place was going to be a problem, a big problem, yes, because now they're able to bring in, they have Champions League football. They're now able to bring in players. I am fed up of this fan base like children. Again, you don't blame them. It's passion. You could say that. They love their club and they want the club to do well. So they have every right to complain if they feel like the club isn't doing the right thing. So I'm going to just get to the bottom. If I missed any of your comment, don't worry. Just keep talking. I will get to it. Yep, tricky. Who knows it? Everything is really tricky. I'm going to come back to the panel and go straight up to Bobby. Your thoughts on Bissouma going to Tottenham?
Hi Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hi, Bobby. You don't sound happy already. I can sense that.
I had to make sure I jumped in because of the Bissouma situation. It's interesting hearing everybody's opinion, and indeed it's an opinion, and everybody has a right to an opinion.
Yeah.
But I despair at some of the things I hear, because it's not panicking that Chelsea fans are feeling. It's the understanding of the lack of quality out there and the need to get the available quality. That's the whole point. Now, Bissouma at his price is an absolute steal, for want of a better word. Why are we in this situation? I'll tell you why. Systematically, Marina Granovskaya and the Chelsea scouting team have been weakening the squad. The reason Antonio Conte left Chelsea after winning the league was for this very same thing. And after we had the transfer ban, transfer market as European champions, more or less, we continued to weaken. Now look at Liverpool and Man United. They get their business in before they get rid of anybody. And the people they get rid of are the people that are earmarked to be surplus to requirements. Chelsea get rid of their best and keep the dead wood and then do useless business. Whether we like it or not, whether we want to subject ourselves to the programming that we're subjected to or not, Marina's business has hurt the club. In Rudiger and most definitely in Lukaku, the sanctions hasn't helped. That's true, and I think the new owners are struggling to get their feet under the table to start doing business. But we're already on the back foot before going on the front foot. I have deep concerns. I have concerns that by the time we're ready to do business, there's no business to be had. And this should worry every Chelsea fan. They think, oh, be patient. Oh, we can't do it all this summer. We'll do it next summer. Look, Arsenal is an example of what happens when you drop out of the top four. So is Man United. Arsenal has not had Champions League football for 6 seasons. What, you think it's easy to just drop in and out like that? Or to close the gap like that? You do it now. If we don't close the gap, or if we don't do good business, we will delve into the realms of mediocrity for a long, long time. And these people paying 4.25 million, investing in Chelsea, they're going to sweat to get any kind of profit. So it's a big deal. And the Bissouma situation is a warning. If he goes, yeah, you can talk of Declan Rice that's about 6 times the price, or you can talk of Sangare that hasn't played in the Premier League at all and is yet to be proven. You can talk of anybody you like, but this is a big, 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 big loss. It's a huge loss, massive. The same capacity of loss as the Erling Haaland loss. And the sooner we start to accept that reality and call it as it is, the better for the psyche of.
Yeah, but it looks like you have an audio issue.
Well,
okay, Declan, I'm going to come to you. How are you doing, brother?
Big up, everyone. I'm a bit more happy.
And believe me, I'll be able to predict your input now.
I wanted to address Ty. No, because I didn't hear.
Yeah,
I was driving, but Ty said something that really stuck with me. He said this Lukaku deal is going to be the hardest one in history. Did I hear that right, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah, well, but tell us how you feel about.
I'll tell you something, and then I'll move on to Bissouma. Lukaku deal will be one of the easiest to pull off. in our history of Chelsea. Easiest. The hardest thing about it is his wage. Because Lukaku wants to leave, Chelsea want to leave, want him gone, and Inter want him. For Inter, in Inter's eyes, right, he's one of their biggest stars. And he won him the Scudetto, right? They appreciate Lukaku way more than other clubs, right? So he's a big he is a big value in Inter and all across Serie A teams because of what he did, right? So they want him, and they're going to get him at cut price and cut wages. So they're getting a quality of Lukaku.
We'll get to Lukaku. He's part of the discussion, but right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought I missed that discussion.
We'll get to that argument. And like I said, I can actually predict what you'd say about Bissouma now, but let me just let you speak for yourself. Your thoughts on the possibility of Bissouma joining Tottenham for just £25 million?
Great deal. A big signing for Spurs. I'm not worried that he didn't come to Chelsea, but I'm more worried that Spurs are actually building a bit of a force of a team with Bissouma and Pulisic already, and I assume they'll probably get a defender in too. And the way they finished, in the form they finished, I think they're only a few players from being a really tough team. I mean, the attack's already there. Left wing back, Højbjerg actually played good. Some of the defenders played alright. So it was just a few slots that they had to fill in. Tottenham will be a force, I think, and throw Bissouma in there. It's going to be massive. I mean, end of the day, if we were in for Bissouma, I'm sure Bissouma will pick Chelsea over Tottenham. That's pretty evident, right? So obviously, we still can be in the race. We maybe still are. This isn't a done deal yet. Or we weren't in for Bissouma. And if we're not in for Bissouma, and my original argument about the difference from what like Rice and Bissouma is that Bissouma matches traits and characteristics of Kovacic and Kante, and we already got that. Which means
we can have them both.
We can have them both, but we already have Kovacic and Kante. If we lost Kante, then you have a point, right? But the matter of the fact is, Kante could still very well be staying. I've argued that he might have to leave because he's wage and injury prone, and I think for France he got injured as well. So there's a big concern there. But even so, right? Even if Kante stays and becomes more of a big part player, right? Limited games, maybe takes a wage cut, right? Which is ideal. If he takes a wage cut, we give him a longer contract, a bit more security, and he plays less games, and we manage his injuries, right? That's probably ideal because then he can be very key in big games, right? If he's used right. So that I still like that idea. But the problem is the same problem you'll encounter is when we played Kovacic and Kante together. Now, if you play Kovacic and Bissouma, Kante and Bissouma, you're gonna come across the same problems we had when we had that combination. So you need someone with a bit more characteristics, right? And like I've mentioned my ideal player for those positions, but we don't have it. And what we do have, right, is characteristics that match Bissouma. We got that in abundance. We got Loftus-Cheek that can drive the ball as well. So similar as well. So we almost got 3 players on the books, right, that share similar traits with Bissouma. We got too much. I don't want 2 of them. I need someone really good on the ball. And Bissouma's not one of those distributors. He can still do it to a limited degree, but no. I still think Rice is more comfortable than more, and Rice is more defensive than the other 2, right? Than Bissouma as well. So I think Rice brings something different, unique, right, to what we have. And I think he can actually almost take over Jorginho on how comfortable he is with the ball and do the defensive work and not have to move up, right? So when you combine that, so it's more, maybe the best way to put it is more, who does Bissouma best combine with? And maybe look at your midfielder of the best combination rather than individually, right? To really get, really get like understanding of probably what we're going to go for. Because it might not be Rice. It could be You know, there's a very good chance that Tuchel could be happy, even with Gilmore coming back.
Declared.
Big
honestly,
up, Bobby.
Big up, Declared. Big up, guys.
Yeah,
honestly,
I was going to ask whether anybody on the panel differs. Go ahead, Bobby.
No, Declared has actually cooled me down a little bit because I have fire breathing through my nostrils right now.
I know you broke your mic.
Angry about this Bissouma business, but the logic that Declared has thrown on it, the different perspective, which quite frankly we probably will not have any other choice but to consider, has kind of softened the blow. But it still raises the point that, look, doing nothing at this early stage in the transfer market for Chelsea is not an option. It's not an option.
But Bobby still having some.
Is too limited.
Bobby, how are we sure that they're doing nothing? Can you hear me? I think you still have audio issues. Yeah. Let me quickly catch up on the chat, and then I'll come back to the panel. Right now, we have 36 likes, while we have 110 people watching. So please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video. It doesn't cost anything. You don't even have to donate. Just keep liking the video. The likes, believe me, are more important than the donations. Just like the video to help us reach more people. And the more people we have here, the more fun the show will be. So keep liking the video. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'd really appreciate that. You wanted to say something?
No, I was talking, and suddenly you started buffering, and then you came in as if I was off.
Yeah, you got cut off.
What's
Bobby.
happening?
Yeah, you got cut off.
Oh.
Yeah, we stopped hearing what you were saying for almost 20 seconds or so.
Oh.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Maybe rejoin, Bobby. Might fix it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you have to rejoin or check your connection. That will help because it has happened on 2 occasions now. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead with the chat quickly. Okay. Yeah, you just have to go out and come back in. Maybe that will solve the problem for you. Here says, AS Roma preparing a new bid. Zeki talks ongoing. Let's just keep it Chelsea strictly here, please. Again, because I'm going to skip the comments. If you're not talking about Chelsea, let me see. Where did I stop? I think I skipped quite a lot of stuff, which is a little mistake here. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be here. Oh my goodness, it's not easy like this. Okay, patience. Yeah, patience indeed. Be patient, people. That worked well with Rudiger and Lukaku. All right, go ahead, Bobby. You were saying something. Let me try and find out where I was before.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just as well I got cut off here and there because I was breathing fire. I was crucifying Marina. I still think she's highly accountable until Declared came and kind of cooled me down a bit. And I'm thinking, okay, there's another perspective here. This is a good thing about having the fortune of coming onto a panel because different opinions can help sway opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, I still believe that we are in a situation. We've got to act quickly. We should be doing deals now. And to answer your question, how do I know we're not doing deals? Well, we probably are. But the thing about, or trying, but the thing about the transfer market, ultimate is who have you signed? And so far, it's nobody. You can't call signing a 19-year-old kid and extending an academy products contracts as any kind of signing whatsoever that will help solve our problems. We've got to start making big inroads into the defensive gaps, the midfield gaps, and having Spurs sign Bissouma is not an encouraging sign.
Here's the thing again. Let's be objective here. I think because most of us wanted the club to go for Bissouma. Some wanted Bissouma over Rice. Some also who understands the game quite well see the possibility of both our players being at the club. Now, this comment by Tsubene, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, says, but then last week we were told that Thomas Tuchel is now in charge of our transfer business. We cannot keep blaming our scouts or Marina. What if Tuchel actually prefers Rice over Bissouma? Or what if if it comes down to what Declan just explained? So I think we should just calm down. Because I don't think, again, to me, I've always thought maybe Bissouma will be a better, fit for the way Thomas Tuchel likes to approach the game. Given that I believe, in my personal opinion, I think he's better at beating the press than Rice is. But maybe there are other reasons that Rice is able to slot in perfectly in the center back role. He's also able to play as a DM, and it could be more disciplined than Bissouma would be. But then again, Bissouma, I've always thought, can't fit in well. You can't fulfill the Mateo Kovacic role. But that's by the way. So I think, given this comment on the screen, I think we should just stop. Let's just calm down a bit. Yes, if he goes to Spurs and we don't get him, let it be. Thomas Tuchel is in charge after all. Except if we're being lied to. That's just how I'm gonna put it. And besides, when we heard that the club was looking at Bissouma, was when I think the statement clearly was, if they cannot afford Rice, given how much West Ham was asking before they reduced the price, that Bissouma and Sangare were both options. So I think that just settles the case. We may well just move on. Sibia, you need to visit Mumbai one day. I think Mumbai is beautiful. I haven't been there, but from what I've heard, I think it's beautiful. Again, I don't think so. Let me see. Patience, I've read that before. I said, I will lose my we settle for any B tech players. Yes.
Coach, please, can I just add one more thing to this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is partly why I think the Bissouma issue is important and why we need to act quickly. Because you see, the less the availability of alternatives are in the market, the more resilient West Ham will be in their price for Declan Rice, because they will know we're desperate. And this is the thing, had we got the ability to say, well, if you don't bring down your price, we go get Bissouma, that would have been helpful. Now, if it's true that Spurs have got him, there may still be an opportunity for a steal if we really want him. Now it makes it just that little bit harder. This is what happens when you don't do your business quickly. You get yourself into a corner, and that's part of the frustration we all feel.
Yeah. I think I alluded to that a bit. I think West Ham probably, they're well aware of the players available that are capable of fulfilling that role that we want Declan Rice for. They probably knew Bissouma is an option, and the domestic window is open. That probably was the reason why, if you ask me, in my opinion, they reduced their asking price, because they don't want us to go to Bissouma. And now it looks like, okay, we'll say we're seeing maybe there's a chance we're negotiating with West Ham already, or talking with Rice already to bring him in. We'll see what happens. But again, I wouldn't worry too much, given that comment I read a few minutes ago. I think like I said, if we're being lied to, but if we're being told the truth, then I wouldn't worry, which means Thomas Tuchel prefers getting Rice and don't feel like having both Rice and Bissouma in our team. But I say, given Kante's age, signing Bissouma would still have been a good deal, because Kante isn't getting any younger. But that's, by the way, again, Bobby is spot on, says, Gitonga David, how can people call on selling Jorginho when our squad is very weak as it is at this point? I think if the club wants to sell Jorginho, there's a chance they are looking at an alternative already. They will never sell any player without bringing any in. It's as simple as that, or without being sure of getting a replacement, if you want me to phrase it that way. Maybe in the winger, Matata, as this like a code again says, also you mean, again, I'm going to try to find anything.
Coach,
if you have
can
any
I
questions, you can come in. I'll just skip some of these comments here. Go ahead.
Well, time for a comment. Yeah, you brought up a thing that just reminded me of something. And the age, there is 2 years between Bissouma and Rice when comparing. There was something that was talked about with Chumini.
And who's older?
Bissouma, 25, and Rice, 23. And for me, what Rice is still doing in the EPL at that age is still phenomenal to me. And captain as well at that young age too. I think in the measure of things, there's still a lot of potential for a player like Rice on the upside too. So Rice could be more of a better investment, I would say, because for me, I'll tell you what I like more about Rice outside of football. Because that guy's, when you see him outside of football, his life is surrounded by Chelsea. His family, Chelsea fans. His youth was being at Chelsea. When you see him hang around with football friends in the England squad, they're all Chelsea players. Mount, Chilwell. So a lot of Declan Rice's life is around Chelsea. And when you get someone like that, right, of a player that is surrounded by Chelsea, that is a player that's not going to turn around and go, well, I wanted to go to Real Madrid. It was my dream club, and I want to eventually go there by the end of my career. Players like that have grown up around Chelsea and almost in the youth team and the culture. This goes for academy players as well. Maybe you give them more credit. Are going to be players that would want to. It's their dream to retire at a club like Chelsea. So there is that too. You can get. I mean, we could have got a Chumini in, and then eventually want to go to Real Madrid if they came calling. Just like he chose Real Madrid over us if they didn't come now. And this goes for like Bissouma and other ones. But for me, everyone argued with Rice was his price. I mean, and it was too high. I do agree. But now reports are lower. It was very similar to what everyone said about Chilwell. No one talked about Chilwell's ability and Chilwell that it was too much for 80 mil. That's what was reported. So everyone talked about that for the whole transfer window. And then we got Chilwell for 50, and he's been great besides his injuries. So Rice, I don't think Rice will come in on the prices that are reported.
Yeah, here's one thing I agree with you. I think with this comment in life, though, let me say, so I feel that with regards to DMs, if Chelsea really wanted a Tchouaméni, Kamara, Bissouma, we would have gotten them. But I feel the manager wants Declan Rice. I think that's where the whole situation is pointing to. I'm okay with that as long as it works. Yep, as long as he wants him and as long as it works, I'm fine with it. But if it comes in and it doesn't work, I'll be one of the first to say, I said it. But hopefully, if that is really the player he wants, get him for him. And we've been told he's in charge. He's the one that picks the players. Then, which means obviously that it's more like the likelihood of it working is more than the chances of it's not working. So I'm not really that concerned, and I have to be honest about it. So I want to say again, if you're watching, we have just 48 likes, while we have 123 people watching. So we can do better than that. But again, I'd be ungrateful not to say thank you for 48 likes already. But can we do better than that? I feel like we can do better than 48 likes. So as you're coming in, and if you haven't liked the video, please just take a second to like the video. It doesn't cost anything. Like the video, and also please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, like I said before, you don't actually have to donate. I prefer your likes, which shows your support, which helps the channel grow. So the more you like the video, the more the channel grows, and that's important to me. And I'm going to try and catch up with the channel, come back to the panel, and start with Ty again and Fahim. They've waited so long, to have their say, and I think we'll be moving to another topic that we have to talk about. Says, I think I've read that one too. Says one of the way few channels that does a 3-hour stream doesn't even deserve a like. Yeah, I think, all we ask is just a like. You don't even have to donate. The likes go a long way in nicely helping the channel grow. And if you haven't, do subscribe. Again, you will not regret it if you ever tried the Blue Morning Show. And here says, no, that's it. Again, says, it's also to manage content by signing quality players who can play decently even when he's on the bench. Again, that's a good argument. Rice is brilliant as a defendant and a mid. Yeah, nobody's saying Rice isn't good. My argument right now is that we could have them both in the team. And we could have them both in the team and let Jorginho leave. and we'll still be fine. And we have only Kovacic is one of the few number 8s, again, who's able to play from deep. One of the few players in the team who's able to play from deep to mid as one of the 2 sexes and still be operating as a number 8. But Bissouma can't do that for us, so why not bring him in? And you see,
that could be the issue, coach, is the fact that no one has left. I mean, there's a chance that Jorginho doesn't leave or want to leave.
But who again? See, here's the thing: Kovacic isn't the best at that. Is, I think, as he's one of the few people who can play that deep as one of the 2 sexes, still fulfill the role as a number 8. But still he does well defensively too on his day. You get the point.
I get it. You're 100% right. What I'm saying is that Jorginho Kante hasn't left. I mean, there's even a chance that we get no one in the midfield. We just throw Conor Gallagher and Gilmour in there and leave Loftus-Cheek, and we go as normal because maybe Jorginho wants to stay and maybe he extends his contract. Same with Kante. Maybe there is no intention to actually get a big midfielder in. You're 100% right. If one of those midfielders you mentioned actually leave, if Kante goes or Jorginho goes, then there's a massive urgency to get a big signing or a good signing in there, right? And all these names that have been brought up. So that's why even all the good things I said about Rice, still I don't think that it might not happen, because when I look at it, I see the defense is a priority, 100%. We all know that, yeah. And the attack, something's got to happen, and we know that Lukaku has to go. But even if he doesn't go, there's still a problem there. We have 6 attackers not performing, so something has to shuffle there. So I think something's going to happen there as well. And we had we had a problem with backing up with wing backs, so I think that's going to be addressed. But the midfield might stay the same as in the least of priority. I get everyone's going to say we need a midfielder, but and I agree with everyone. It's just that I get a feeling there's a chance that we just go with what we have, because none of them might not be leaving, but their contracts have to be addressed as well, and Saul Niguez is out there too. So Coach, something has to give.
My opinion, like after the priority is to sort out the defense. For me, afterwards, it should be the midfield. You have to work back to front.
And you don't think they can?
No, you don't have to work back to front. You have to address positions by the issues.
We've had this midfield issue for a while now. We've had this DM issue for a long time now. So
I agree, Fabian. But what's more of an issue? Our not converting issue or our midfield issue? Because our midfield issue was because they were injured all the time.
Okay, Fahim, what's your point? Go ahead.
My point is that we've got attackers. I understand, like a lot of these attackers, like Lukaku, Ziyech, Werner. Yeah, we need to try and offload them. I understand that. We've got a lot of options up front. We've not got many options in midfield. Not enough quality options in midfield as well. So I think that should be high up in the priority. I feel like once you sort out defense, you sort out the midfield, and then you sort out the attack.
Yeah, but that's what's part of the problem. We have so many options up front, and we have the same problem. Where in the midfield, our issue, if our midfielders stayed fit, right, we probably wouldn't be talking about the midfield, to be honest, because they're all injured and out all the time is what created a big issue.
That's the problem. You can't rely on them.
And our creativity doesn't come from there, just by the way, yeah.
But we can add
to it.
We can also, get
it can add to it,
but from the midfield.
Yes, you can, but the way Tuchel wants to play, he doesn't want those balls, and our creativity comes from front three and the wing backs when it comes to attacking. So if you want a Fabregas in there, it's not ideal. It's an added bonus.
I have argued this before, and I've given you prime
examples. I'm going to pull out some kind of whiteboard and like draw it up and watch everyone moves.
Created a few chances from deep.
I'm not saying they can't create. I'm not saying they can't create. What I said was
that.
No, but this is what you're misunderstanding. You're just saying, I would like that player to have some creativity as well. But what I also want on the priority of that role right, is creativity is a bit lower because they're not meant to be the main creators, right? The width and the creation from wide comes from wing backs, right? And one of the three link up with the midfield, right? And the creativity, the play that happens from there is from those players. So the more creative players should be the ones from the front three and the wing backs. Then the sixers. The sixers have more different priorities of counter pressing, the passing, because a lot of the balls go through them. The build up play and also defensive roles, right? Because one of them at least has to sit back. And if they got more than that, if they got creativity, if they got some attack, that's added bonus. I've already addressed that role. That I would like that role now in this system. If it's a player with jack of all trades, if he could do all the stuff I just mentioned, is probably the perfect player for that position. So someone that can do it all is ideal.
That's what I want to explain again. I get your point, Declan. Let's forget about what the creativity aspect of argument. I think I'll schedule a fight with you for that one. What I want to say here is Bissouma even would have been, you could argue, an upgrade to what's his name? An upgrade to Kovacic. But that doesn't mean I want us to lose Kovacic. They differ slightly.
You saying?
But
did you say Bissouma's upgrade on Kovacic?
In terms defensively, because he can defend quite well. He can defend better than Kovacic. He's quicker than Kovacic. That's the point. So again, having him, and you and I know this is the truth. We have on so many occasions struggled in the absence of Kovacic. Why? Because it's one of only, I think, how many players I can count. I'm not even sure of others who's able to still progress the ball no matter how oppositions press us, and no matter how players you have on him. He's not the one to always seek to pass the ball backwards or sideways. He hardly does that. And Bissouma is capable of doing the same thing. So that's why I'm so not happy why we're missing. And that's why I was actually sure when we've argued this before that he will make a better player for Thomas Tuchel than Rice will. But there are other reasons why you could look at it and say this is why Thomas Tuchel prefers Rice over Bissouma. And that is if he's actually getting Rice. If in fact it is the truth that he had Bissouma as an option for the DM position and not like a hybrid 6 who can fulfill the role as a number 8 and at the same time fulfill the role as a number 6. But I'm going to quickly catch up with the chat and come back here. Go ahead, Bob, if you want to say something before I do that.
To be honest, if Chelsea do not address the midfield, they're going to land in mid-table and towards the relegation zone. The midfield is full of weaklings. It is the weak link, and it's meant to be the main link. That is a huge problem. It's as big a problem as the defense. We cannot leave the midfield as it is. What, with a bunch of players that can't shoot at goal, that can barely fight for the ball? No. And the weakest of them all is Jorginho. I don't buy all this Regista nonsense. I don't see what he does there. He is a liability, and the midfield has to be shaken up.
Yeah, I think I do. I love Jorginho, but at times, in some games that we've struggled this past season, Phantom, I'll come to you in a bit, but I'll have to catch up with the chat. It's becoming too long. And I don't have a studio engineer, but we're all set up for it. I'm still looking for people. Now, here's the thing. Again, I do agree. I've come to terms that he's not the best for us because games where oppositions press very well, he struggles quite a lot, even when Kante is on the pitch, because usually he does better when he's paired with Kante. Then Kante will help protect the defense, even when he can't do anything. But that's, by the way. Now, I'm going to get to the chat. Again, something I want to talk about a bit. I know Declan talked about Loftus-Cheek as one of those players who can equally do what Bissouma does. Where Bissouma is different is he's quicker than most of them. He's defensively sound than most of them. And listen, the games that, what's his name? Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I love him, and I don't want him to leave the club, but he's in no way a 6. Even when he plays further forward, his pressing is poor. Now, in those games where he's played as one of the 2 6s, He can't read the game. He cannot read the game. But in most cases, in terms of physicality, he does well. But in terms of reading the game and being at the right place at the right time, breaking up plays, he doesn't do that. But you will see good combination play with whoever he's paired with. You will see him glide through the midfield so nicely. It will look good on the eye, but we usually suffer defensively when he's played one of the 2 6s. I know that's your argument. That's not your argument, so to speak. But I'm just saying again, I wouldn't like to see us play. Love to see us one of those 2 6s again. That's by the way. Now let me try and catch up with the chat, please. There's quite a lot of them waiting. Loftus-Cheek is not bad. Nobody says he's bad. He's just simply not a number 6. And I don't think he'd be good. He'd become good at it. If he does, I'd take it. Before, ouch, he was so much better, especially under Sarri. We all saw what he's capable of doing until that horrifying, horrible day in the U.S. during a charity friendly, actually. Gilmore is not staying. He's going out on loan. I see that happening. If he stays, I'd love him to stay because believe me, he'd fulfill that, hybrid of a Regista or mashup of Regista and DM role better than Jorginho would. Gitonga, not everybody comes here again.
I think there's a chance of him staying, Coach. I think Tuchel wanted him to stay. He pushed for the move. Maybe the loan move changed his mind. Could change his mind, and maybe Tuchel can convince him again to stay. Because if it was up to Tuchel, he would have stayed. He pushed for it, and it wasn't probably the experience that he was after. And maybe Tuchel can promise him something better.
Yeah, the truth is he gets a chance during preseason, and Thomas Tuchel will look at all of them. Morty Grissom says, and again, please, we have 64 likes. Well, we have 124 people watching. If you haven't, please, just take a second to like the video. Like I said before, you don't even have to donate. You don't have to. Just like the video. The likes alone are okay for the channel. The more the likes, the more people we can reach, and the more the faster the channel grows, and the quicker we can reach the 3,000 subscribers. Morty Gruesome, looks, this is your first time I see you here. Please, if you haven't, do consider subscribing to the channel. Why you talk about Bissouma when Chelsea first priority is at least 4 defenders, centre-backs left, and Lukaku, I hope will stay. And we have 3 new midfielders, good ones, Gallagher, Gilmore, and Lampard. Thank you. That's your opinion. But here's what I want to say to you. Yes, for obvious reasons, the club's priority should be more focused on fixing the defensive line. But believe me, Chelsea is a big club, and I believe they have enough people employed to be able to simultaneously fix the defense and also look for defensive midfield reinforcement and attacking reinforcement. That's why you're Chelsea, okay? Gilmore to Leeds will be testy. Who do I trust to again give the guy the chance he wants? I'd say it may be under Patrick Vieira or maybe some other club. We'll see what happens. I have my opinion. It's not changing. Yep, we're all entitled to our opinion. Hopefully, can you please be respectful to each other? I don't like that. Again, let me see. I think I may have to skip everything. Says Judge Mendes has offered Carlos again. All-Stars tournament. Can we stick to Chelsea, please? We have quite a lot to talk about our own club. Again, we don't want to, talking about all other clubs to, derail us. Again, it looks like I'm going to skip quite a lot of comments here. And again, be patient with me. We're working on bringing in a studio engineer that will make the whole thing easier so I don't have to do the whole work myself. And believe me, it will be much simpler. Super Thomas Tuchel, you guys have to remember this is the World Cup season. I think we will buy Rice next summer. We're not going to sign any midfielder this year. Okay, I don't know. Like the stream, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Says the queen of the channel, of Chelsea perspective. So I'm just going to skip quite a lot. I saw something from Winter Suffer here. I'm going to try to read it. It's not easy to find. It says, again, let me see that. Okay. You say, he says, you always, oh my God, but I hope it doesn't derail me. Again, I want to read what he's saying there.
That was for context about, I think when I was talking about, you don't pay 100 mil for potential. I'm pretty sure.
So he says you always pay higher for attacking players. It's known by all. A DM who don't think can play there by himself. It's what the price, and now the time it would take to bring West Ham's price down. Again, I think I get the argument. I hope I understand. Again, let me see. I'm going to just go to the bottom again and try to be with everybody at the same time. There's so much to catch up with. I don't think I actually can. Now, coming back to the panel.
Phantom.
Sorry, go ahead, Phantom. You go ahead, Phantom. Let's get your opinion.
Okay. So I think we should go out and offer Brighton 35 mil or 40 million for Bissouma and maybe add a few, dollars to his weekly wages and see if he comes over to Chelsea or not. Because at that price, that's a bargain, because at a minimum, you're looking at what, 65, 75 million for Rice.
Mm-hmm.
So at 35 to 40, that's a huge bargain. Yeah.
For who?
For Bissouma.
Okay, you're advocating we should go hijack it. Again, it depends.
Yes.
It depends on if Thomas Tuchel wants him. If Thomas Tuchel really wants him, because it doesn't look like it just looks like it's nothing.
I used to be in this camp of let's get Thomas Tuchel what he wants, but if he wants Dembele, then I'm not on that camp. I'm not on that train.
Of course, you have your reasons, and we've talked about that here. But here's the thing: if he wants, no, we don't want to start talking to go down that lane right now.
I want Phantom to scream at me. That's what I really want.
He's not going to scream at you. Again, I think we should just move on from the Bissouma talk. It's taking too much time here.
I have no more faith in anything that anybody says out there, because, West Ham, I thought West Ham was serious when they said that, but apparently they're not. So I was wrong. I was wrong. But I admit I was wrong. But I was wrong.
Thank you for taking responsibility for that. Now I'm going to come back to the panel. Ty, are you still there?
Yes, I am. I've been waiting to see something.
Yeah, let me know what you think about that is this we see on the screen here. Inter Milan are in talks to sign Romelu Lukaku and Paulo Dybala, but the plan is to only sign one of them and not both. To me, if you ask me, what do I think they do? I think they prefer signing Dybala. He's coming on the free. And if Lukaku stays at Chelsea, we still owe them 70 million plus. And they need money. They do need money. They need to show a profit margin of around, I think, 50 million plus. I don't know if it's euros or pounds. So which means they prefer getting Dybala on a free and then offer him the wage they want to offer him. Lukaku will mean, I think we don't owe them that much money again. So your thoughts?
For me, with this, I honestly think that their preferred choice would be to get the ball, and like you just said, you just outlined every reason why it would be the case, and I think it's a case, with him, with Dybala being mostly on a free, and them having to really focus on the wages side of it. I'm not sure if they're going to say that, Lukaku wants to come back to us, and because I think at the end of the day, like we keep saying, they want money, and the moment that they agree to the demands that Chelsea have in terms of taking him on loan for 2 years and then with an obligation to buy, they know that eventually the payments that Chelsea are supposed to make to them will have to be going down the drain, because they can't be asking for something while they have the service of a player that is technically still contracted to Chelsea in a sense. So I think for them, it's a case where they probably choose the ball up. This is a setback, but also there's something to note is that source in particular deleted that tweet. Maybe it was outlined in the wrong way. I don't know, but I think it's a case where they removed it, and I guess in a sense probably trying to upgrade what said on it, because I think it's a case where it would cause a really huge setback for the club, especially with their targets, and if one particular target it has to do with Lukaku leaving in particular, it really does cause a setback for them. But I think at the very moment, I don't really think that this is something to worry about. Things can always change. We saw what can happen. 10 minutes, everything comes crashing down. 10 minutes after that, something comes out good. So I think in a case like this, it's something that that people can still remain relaxed about. Yes, it seems as if it's likely he could stay, and there's always a possibility that somebody you're trying to sell or trying to offload ends up staying at the club at the end of the window. He wants to move. He's desperate to leave Chelsea. It's shocking, but I mean, he's persisting with it, and I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do, but at the very moment, I think the more ideal signing for Inter to me could be Dybala. The thing is, if they believe that Dybala is going to be the only one that they decide to, because I'm not really sure about it, because it's like people have been saying Lukaku wants Inter, but Inter doesn't want him as much as he wants them. So
they
I
don't.
think,
It's common sense. They don't. Why would they?
yeah, but I mean, look at it. I mean, Inter Milan is not an inhumane place where like, oh, look at what he's doing to Chelsea, and this is hilarious. And no, they're not gonna be like, oh, he's trying to stake them to come back to us. They're not gonna like that, because they never know. What if he comes back to them, and then he's saying that, you know what, this is the atmosphere isn't the same like before I left. Because the way he showed himself as a narcissist and an arrogant person, someone who has a big ego, where he wants everything
Always
to be
about him.
Everything is me. The manager is not playing to me. He's not playing to my strengths. He's not doing this. He's being this. He's being that. He's being an immature person. And the fact that you're going to be doing this, it's pathetic. But I feel like it's a pity that we have a contract with him longer than we do. Because I think if it was a case where it was 1 year left at these, and we're trying to do something like that, I think probably the best thing to do. I'm not at Chelsea, and I think as a fan I can say this, but I would terminate his contract, because you cannot be having such a toxic person in your dressing room, someone who will be upset.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't give it away. We'll get to what happens if he stays.
Yeah.
But then again, you make a brilliant point. I think he's proven that I think you're the one that always says, I think big player mentality. I forgot the term you used for it, Ty, and it was on the panel on Chelsea's perspective here. I think it's always him, and how Inter knows it's a risk, because now they can't trust him. They notice also a risk of bringing him back, given that he's falling out with the fans. I think if it will be stupid for them not to look at his history, how he ended, that is his stay at Manchester United ended, like the Clark will say, is always kissing the bat for every club. Yeah. Again, I don't want to use the term that just come to mind. Yeah. Again, it says Jorginho need to be at the summer with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I'm not sure. That comment isn't really clear. Says, I want to know what Chelsea have planned for this transfer window. After love, just give me a few minutes. I'll take some time off here. Go give Thomas Tuchel a call and then get back to you. We need to rebuild, but there's still nothing on defenders. Again, I still do believe that they are very hard at work behind the scenes. We just don't know. But we'll see what happens. You guys have to remember, this is the World Cup season. I think we will buy Rice next summer. That may well happen. We'll see. In Life No Limits, there was no publicity Rizia Chiwell either. Again, that's why I say that's a chance. Boom, before you know some important player will be holding up the club's shirt. Again, like the stream, people. Come and keep liking the video, people. Again, I'd have to be ungrateful not to say thank you. Thank you for almost how many likes now? I think we have, let me see, let me not misquote anything there. We have, just give me a second. We have 79 likes, but we can do better than that because we have 120 people watching. So please take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you're enjoying the show, again, I don't ask you to donate. All I ask you is just keep liking the video. The more you like the video, the more people would be able to reach, and the more people would have on the show, and the more fun it will be. And the more the channel can grow as quickly as it deserves. If you ask me, just the queen of the stream, the Chelsea Perspective says, like the stream, guys, and subscribe to the channel, please do so. Again, he's saying Tuchel might want him. I'm not sure. Can you guys get me know who you're talking about? Kounde, Dembele, Koulibaly, or Skriniar? That will be an ideal window. We'll see what happens. Them. Okay. And Stripia, the Queen of All Stream, says, remember, subscribe, share to the world on social, show some love. Let's make the blue, and please never forget that like button. Thank you. Thank you for putting that so well, Queen of All Stream. I sincerely do appreciate that. In Life No Limits, again, talking to True Blue. Let me see if there's anything else to address here. Chilwell needs to know he's wanted. Again, he knows we love him. Hopefully he comes back the same. My concern is that, again, that's not a small injury, but I hope he comes back stronger and even better. We need to sign one of Jesus or Sterling for depth. It remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. Maybe public would kick him hard. Again, let's see what the Queen's saying here. Jesus is better, in my opinion. I think I take Jesus over Sterling because Sterling is more. You could argue. I'm not sure if I should call him a winger, but we'll see. Again, if we're to get any of them, if in fact Manchester City will be willing to let both go. I don't. Again, it says, what are you cover is way quality player than Bissouma, and I did make it clear Bissouma is better defensively. That's how he's better overall. And he's quicker too, if you ask me. For our type of game, maybe I'm not sure. Let me just, but he's better defensively. Let me just stop at that. For our type of game, again, let me say here, Kounde is injured and he's going to be. The rumors are he'll be going under the knife, but we'll see. The hell, boss. Sorry.
It's a minor procedure. He'll be okay.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Coachila, I the hell you too, my brother. How you there? You go here. What? Cover is a Champions League level player. Bissouma isn't that man, dog. He is at the best a bench player for City Liverpool. Again, that's your argument. If that's how you see it, you have every right to say that. Bissouma can have a bad good midfield with Kante. Let's see that. Dude isn't something. Again, let's see what's going on here. Big up. We will not get a top 4 next season. Again, that's being pessimistic. I think we'll get there. We'll do better if we would do well if we're actually strategic with our signs. Fans overreacting. Why are you forgotten that we had both our wing backs options injured last season? Which is the more reason why we need to get competition for both players. We need to get 2 starting players for left wing, one for left wing back and one for right wing back. So when either of the 2 players gets injured, we have people that are capable of fulfilling the role perfectly. But what we had were backups. So when Chilwell got injured, all we had was Alonso, and he wasn't as he couldn't do as well as Ben Chilwell, fulfill the role as well as Ben Chilwell did. And on the right hand side, Cesar Azpilicueta isn't anywhere close to Reece James in terms of contributing to our attacking, to our attack. So again, that's not. I get you. So if our starting players injured, that's it. We have an excuse to underperform for the rest of the season. If you get my point. Some of our fans with large followers on Twitter, Alex especially, hype on Rice is beyond absurd. Besides Kovacic, we don't have any other midfielder who can move the ball comfortably. That's another argument there. But I'm going to come back to the panel. Fahim, your thoughts on the Lukaku story?
Lukaku, we all want this guy gone. I think Inter don't really want him that much this summer. They don't want him. They're trying to compete with AC Milan for the title again, and I honestly think they want to go for Dybala rather than Lukaku. Like you said, like you mentioned it before, they've literally seen what he's done at Chelsea in terms of stats, in terms of his personality, in terms of what the interview. Everyone knows. All these top clubs know what he's done for Chelsea, what he's done off the pitch and on the pitch as well. So they're going to be laid back in being interested in Lukaku. Lukaku himself knows that as well. He knows that Inter is the only club that will only accept him. Bayern Munich are not going to accept him. No other club will accept him. Only Inter Milan. But I think Inter Milan are trying to have They have Dzeko, they have Martinez, they have. I think they're going to bring in Dybala or Lukaku. The only way I can see it happening for me personally is if they get rid of Martinez. That's the only way I can see it happening. Because I remember a quote one of the Inter Milan, I don't know who it was, but one of the board members said they replaced Lukaku with Dzeko and there's no difference. There's no difference. They don't see any difference. Now, I think they're going to go for players that will stay at the club long term as well. Dybala, I don't know how old he is. I think he's like, 28? 29, might be younger than Lukaku. But it's a hard one to get rid of Lukaku because...
Overall, do you think Lukaku, just your thoughts, do you think he stays or he leaves?
I think he leaves, but honestly I don't know. It's almost like 50-50 with me. Honestly, I have to wait and see what Inter Milan are planning to do, because like I said, if they plan to sell Martinez, then I can see Lukaku leaving this summer. But if they plan to keep Martinez for next season, I honestly think he might be staying, because what other clubs are going to buy Lukaku? I don't see Bayern Munich buying Lukaku. Don't see any other top clubs buying Lukaku. With the wages he's on, the transfer fee, like Chelsea are not going to accept a low transfer fee for him. Like they're going to ask for a high loan fee or a high transfer fee. No top club is going to pay that much for Lukaku. So the only way I can see it happen is that Inter Milan sell Martinez. They're going to have they're going to have some money to spend, and then they might actually spend it on Lukaku. That's the only way I can see it. But if they have no intention for Martinez to leave, they want to keep him, then unfortunately I see Lukaku staying.
Yeah, I'm fearing that he may well stay. And again, let's look at that again. I think multiple sources, not just Simon Phillips, here again says, if you haven't seen it, for those in the chat, just to look at it again before I move on to the next person on the panel, says Inter Milan are in talks to sign Romelu Lukaku and Paulo Dybala, but the plan is to only sign one of them and not both. And that's according to he quotes that according to Damasio, as you can see on the screen here. Now, what would make perfect sense for Inter Milan is to get Dybala on a free. But because with Lukaku, they'd be spending some money. And again, we've talked about it 1,000 times here. They need some money. They need to balance the books. Yeah. And again, if you look at it, they don't have, again, if Inter, they're smart. They don't have Hakimi anymore. And there's a chance Martinez will end up being the one they sell. Except for the fact, even PSG has put in a bid for Skriniar, but they rejected it. But the truth is, overall, they want money. And with that, again, before I go to Declan, I want to ask the people in the chat. First, I want to say thank you very much for how many likes do we have right now? I have to be accurate with it. We have 87 likes, so we need just 13 more to get to 100 likes. I want to say thank you, because it'd be ungrateful. I'd be ungrateful not to say that. It's not easy to get to 87 likes, but we can do better than that since we have 124 people watching. So please keep liking the video. It is free. It doesn't cost anything. Again, I'm not even asking you to donate to the channel. The likes alone would do. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more people we can reach, and the more people we have here, the more fun it will be, and the more the channel will grow. And I sincerely do thank you in advance. So please, again, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And the Queen of Austria says Chelsea would let players leave when we have the one to take their place. It's as simple as that. We can't let players leave without being sure of replacement. Declan, you can come in. Tell me what you think about the Lukaku situation, and I want you to let me know whether you think he'd leave or not. I know you have a theory why you think it's going to be easy, but just go ahead.
Well, I'd like to address something that I kind of disagree with Fatim was about the Martinez. I think Martinez is actually the key for Lukaku returning. I mean, even in his interview, he went out and said it publicly too. And even without that, Martinez was a key in his success. They linked up very well. He did a lot of the work. as a combination is why he looks so good. I think if Lukaku was returning to Inter, Martinez will play a part. The fact that he's there, and him actually getting sold could jeopardize the move. Could question why.
What about us
Lukaku.
buying? What about us buying Martinez? You know, like
We should have bought
simple.
Martinez, but
It's not that
something you
simple.
guys got to remember: as soon as Martinez was preyed on, let's use the word right, by a lot of clubs, and as soon as Lukaku left, even in this state of financial deciding that they didn't even give Lukaku the pay raise that they gave Martinez. They re-signed Martinez straight away and gave him more money. They didn't give that for Lukaku. They actually rated Martinez better than Lukaku. Is what I rated Martinez better than Lukaku, right? I've said that a long time ago, and recently as well. Inter as a club rated Martinez more important because even in his interview, Lukaku came out and said, if I was given a contract, would we doing this interview in Milan, right? And that goes to show that if Inter gave the pay raise that they give Martinez, then we wouldn't be even talking to Lukaku. Like he would have stayed. So the only reason he left was for money. So I don't think it's easy to get Martinez unless it's a crazy offer, right? Something that Inter can't refuse, and that will take a lot.
On Chelsea's side, which position does Martinez play in? Does he play in Werner's position, or does he play in Mount's?
In this system, Martinez is that characteristics are that great that he can play across the front three. That's how good he plays, and that goes to show how when Lukaku really didn't have to do much, and Martinez did it all, and put a lot.
He's a creator. He's
of
the chief creator for Lukaku when he was at Inter. He was.
He's not just a creator. He can score goals. He linked up play. He can dribble. He made a lot happen and put on Lukaku on a plate for him. That's why Lukaku liked him so much.
Get him. I mean, what's he going to cost? 75 mil.
We should have threw 100 mil at him because he was still only, I think, 24 years old too. We should have threw 100 mil at him, but on paper, people for Lukaku looked better because he was actually.
No, I mean right now, what would it take to lift Martinez from Inter Milan?
Probably the same fee or more.
Here's the thing. I don't think they'd be willing to, even though they need money. I don't think they'd be willing to sell him. Because
that's why I said it had to be something crazy.
Yeah, if they let him go, even bringing Dybala becomes a problem. They need the creator. He's the chief creator at Inter Milan.
Yeah.
He's the chief creator in terms of creating chances for them. And he also, like the client did say, he finishes too. So if they're willing to let the likes of Bastoni, Skriniar, and Dumfries go to balance the books as they want to. But go ahead, Declan. I still want to find out from you what do you think happens with the Lukaku deal and whether you think he stays or leaves.
I think so with Lukaku, I think it's more off the pitch issues, why he has to go and how the fans feel about him and how he feels and the damage he's done and redemption for him is a real a long road for him. So I think for those reasons alone, he just wants to be in a new atmosphere, new environment or new place, maybe even out of the country, would serve him better, and he knows that too. So I'm pretty confident that Lukaku's going to go because Lukaku has shown that he takes pay cuts when he wants his move, and he'll be willing to do that again. But where I can see where I'm not taking a pay cut is if he thinks that if money is that important to him, and he can't see him getting a pay rise in the future, he might just stay and collect a paycheck. He might do what Bale did. I mean, even Bale did all right. I mean, he might be even worse. He might just. Then
the only option then would be just to terminate his contract. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, we just sit him, put him with the kids or whatever. I mean, it'll be detrimental to the team and the financial costs, especially when we're trying to bring people in. So, I think he leaves it because it's in his best interest. I think it's in Chelsea's best interest. And for Inter Milan, when Simeone came in over there, he replicated what Conte is doing. He was already kind of playing that way at Lazio. So he was a good replacement for Conte when he came in. So they replaced Lukaku with Edin Dzeko. Still got a player, he's just too old. And Edin Dzeko was scoring more goals than Lukaku, right, when he first started, which was great. They thought they got 100 mil, and I think they picked Dzeko on a free transfer, I think it was. And it looked like great business because they replaced Lukaku with someone for free, and they got 100 mil. So it looked great on their side. So, but going towards the end of the season, Dzeko got injured. He couldn't keep it up, right? So they tried different things, and there is a missing hole where Lukaku is. So they need a player of similar characteristics. Dybala is not that player for me. Dybala is, if they lost Martinez and they needed someone to do what Martinez did, or backup to Martinez, or if they're going to actually change the way they play, right? For Dybala to come in. So Dybala and Lukaku are very different players. They know that too. That statement doesn't make sense to me to say it's either one or the other, because they're not the same player, right? unless they're willing to take that, change the way they're playing, or alter it in a certain way. So it really comes down to what they want to do. But if you're going to still play very similar to how Conte plays, you need that bigger presence, that hold-up man, and Lukaku fits perfect in that style of play, and that's why they had Edin Dzeko do it, and he did well. But Dzeko can't keep it up. I think Dzeko's going to be 37, and he's struggling, and so they need a similar player. Now Lukaku's a perfect player for them, and he's proven it there, and he actually loves it. So I think it's in Inter's best interest to go after the best to try and make it happen on a cut price too. So in reality, Inter's still going to make money on this whole deal. They got 100 million from us, and whatever if he goes back, they're still going to come out on top. So it still looks like great business on their end. There's no shame in that. So I think all parties, I think it's the best for all parties, and I think when that happens, I think that's when the deal is pretty easy to happen. Because if Lukaku didn't want to go, based on money reasons, then it's the hardest deal. Then I agree. But I believe that Lukaku actually wants to go. I think Chelsea want to get rid, and I think Inter are actually really keen.
Yeah, sometimes again, I get your point. If both parties want it to happen, it's usually easier. But in this case, it's not that simple, and for obvious reasons. Like I've said that a zillion times, Inter wants money. Inter wants money, and that hasn't changed. And the deal of Lukaku going to Inter involves almost, isn't it, 20 million per season? Right?
Yeah, and
something
I think where the other
links
could... Yeah, the other links that could happen is that Chelsea could help other ways. If say Inter need money desperately, and one of their players are on the market, maybe we overpay for one of their players, for example, to help him in the financial sense, to help with the Lukaku deal. There's other avenues to really broker a bigger deal. Do you know what I mean? They say, like, we'll pay a bit more extra for Bastoni, and you take the bit of the hit on the Lukaku deal, right? And it still helps them on the books. There are deals like that could happen if we're actually keen on one of the other players as well. But I'm also with what Phantom said too. If we were desperate, we should test their resolve and throw big money at Martinez and see if they fold. It's the same thing I feel about if Barcelona are having really these issues. I really like some of their youth players. They're going to be huge, big players in the future. We should test their resolve. All these clubs that are having financial issues, we should just throw money at them and see if they fold. And if Inter's having all these issues, why not test it? Well, why not? They can say this guy's not for sale, this person's not for sale. I mean, I'm sure there's other clubs in for Inter. I mean, in for Lukaku. I mean, you know what? Who would come up with the money as well? And there's also a history to it. AC Milan. AC Milan have old strikers. They would love to have Lukaku if they can get him. And if Lukaku is that bank on money, right? They'll pay. They'll pay. Just there's a history of Inter and AC Milan trying to get their players who just to show that they're not that they're not loyal to their club. They've done that heaps in the past. They've got a massive history of that. And if AC could grab the deal, that would be in for him. They would try to strike a deal, even if it's not much money, but they can still test it. I think there's going to be a lot of clubs, especially Serie A clubs, that if they could get Lukaku on a cheap deal, because remember, if Lukaku puts himself out there on a cheaper wage and a cheaper transfer fee, I think there's going to be a lot more clubs interested. It's not just the big clubs. It doesn't have to be the very big ones, because Lukaku hasn't shown that he deserves to be at Bayern, Madrid, or Barca, or those big clubs, even PSG.
Yeah,
which I
thoughts?
hope was going for him, bro.
Yeah, Bobby, your thoughts? Have we lost Bobby, or he's just still unmuting his phone?
So,
go ahead. Your thoughts, Bobby.
It's an interesting one. As you know, everybody knows how I feel. I'm very annoyed as to how Chelsea have created so many blind alleys for themselves. I don't know if they're going to be able to get rid of Lukaku. Left to me, I would get rid of him, cut our losses, and run. But clearly, there's an unwillingness to cut losses because of the huge sums of money that was wasted on this guy. I think he's on about 19 million a year, and of course we all know what his purchase price was. It was insane. That's why I fully hold Marina and the scouting team to account for these stupid decisions. Now the club is hamstrung. They've got so many players they need to get rid of, and they've got so many players they need to buy. What they need to do is to be brave and decisive. And I suspect that some of this hesitation we may be seeing now, I know it's still very early, is because Marina's still around. I know transfers have been handed over to Tuchel, but he's clearly not the person instigating the purchases. He's probably pointing out who he wants. Now, if that's the case, it's always a big if. I don't know. It's very bizarre. I can't really have an opinion until I start seeing people coming through the door. But the bravery will have to be like what Man City and Liverpool are doing. They secure their targets, then offload later. I don't think we have any choice. If we wait to offload before we secure our targets, we're going to end up with nothing. That's what I feel about the situation.
Phantom, your thoughts on the Lukaku situation, but I think I heard you say you're not sure whether he stays or
if he's going to stay, we should just get Martinez and make Lukaku better. I mean, that's you know what? Nobody hates Lukaku when he's scoring. Okay, even after the interview, when Lukaku does score, we all cheer and say, "Oh, Romelu Lukaku," and sing his song in the same way we sing Marcus Alonso's song when he scores. So I think that the fans are just not happy with Lukaku because he's not scoring. But if he started scoring again, then we would just love him. And so if we got Martinez,
how possible is that really?
Huh?
How possible is that really?
That's really possible.
For things to change for him for good.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets his setup guy, I mean, maybe it's like in basketball, in NBA, there's Stockton and Malone. So if he gets his Martinez, maybe, or if we had gotten Yusuf or Werner, then maybe with the pair, that he starts scoring again. So maybe if we get Martinez, he wants to stay in and do better at Chelsea because he needs Martinez. So whether he's here in Chelsea or at Inter Milan, he needs the Martinez. So if we can't get rid of him, then let's get Martinez.
Yep, I have to say this again. Even if we did, in fact, in the future, we're able to come, you can say some compromise, for him to leave the club. I think it will involve a huge L, no matter we see it, even though we're hearing Jay-Z has also come into the play and all that. But that's, by the way, I think we're going to move on from the Lukaku story and talk about Jules Kounde. But before I do that, let me quickly catch up with the chat. Here says Bissouma to Spurs is almost done. Yeah, that's where most of us are, not happy. But again, we just have to look at what we're being told, that Thomas Tuchel is the one that points to the players that the club will go for. So if that's true indeed, the truth, then the man is getting the players he wants. So we shouldn't actually be worried at all. Nicholas A.Y. says, hey, man, you need to be somehow optimistic in your judgment in order to save our blood pressure. You have the right to make suggestions to the club as well. Yeah, we all have the right to suggest to the club. He's young, he gets him, but add another year to contract. Yep, I think he's. I know how much Trippier loves Billy Gilmore, so she's probably talking about Billy Gilmore. Collins Unbox saying Tottenham has already signed him, shuffled for medicals. Okay, that's good. Kounde will be a Chelsea player. I think he will, but we'll look at what the injury means. In reality, how many players do you think we can bring in this window? All this fantasy talks about 6 to 7 players is truly unrealistic at Coachila. Again, it can happen, but I think that would be drastic. And if that happens, just throw your hopes of trophies. Let me say, just tame your expectations for next season. If that's a better way to phrase it. If we make too many changes to the team, again, more importantly, we have to be strategic. We have to be strategic with the new signings to show we're not creating more problems that will take time to solve because we're rebuilding. Yes, it's a rebuild, but then again, with Chelsea, we don't want to go throughout the coming season not winning anything because we're rebuilding. No, the rebuilding I don't think will happen in one window. So there's a chance it's up to 4, 5, 6, 7 players, or even more. I don't know. But if you ask me, in my opinion, I say at least 4, 5. Again, that's me. Some people argue the more. Junior Joseph says Dembele is a great move. Okay. Again, watch your language here. If you're in the chat, please watch your language. Just express yourself. If somebody expresses an opinion you don't like, present your counter opinion in a very civilized way. We don't accommodate that language here. It's not okay. Please, again, yep. Says Monique wants Kounde. Wow, I haven't heard that before. Cannot sign Dembele till the 1st of next month. Thank you again for reiterating that, Trippier. He's still under contract with Barcelona, which expires on the 30th of this month. Plus, we're not talking to Barcelona, we're talking to him. So, it's a mutual, let me say, I don't know if the term mutual business is correct. If we're talking with Barcelona and we're paying Barcelona some fee, then if we agree, he puts pen to paper, then we can say, yes, we can be here and we've signed him, but he's still not going to be our player until the 1st of next month. So I hope that makes sense. TC, nice to see you here. It's been a minute. How are you doing? I was always concerned that you're going to miss your place in the Roman Abramovich tribute contest. I will try to do the draw today. Hopefully, I hope to do it today. I want to get that done so we can fix a date for the start. Nice to see you. I hope things are well, Archer. And you really expect the kid to hold Norwich together. Again, I wouldn't, judge Billy Gilmore best on his loan stay, you could argue, at Norwich City, because a tree can never make a forest. That phrase perfectly defines his stay there. He did his best. And sometimes you see flashes of what he's capable of doing. Now, I'm just going to come back to the panel and start with you, Phantom. Your thoughts on Kounde injury?
Yeah, if he's injured, we can't sign him. Sorry, we've got to find an alternative. I mean, we had already slated him in, but if he's injured, we don't know how injured he is. How long is this injury going to last, and so forth. So we need to go find another center back, and then let him just run out his contract at Sevilla and pick him up in a later year.
Even without being sure of the severity of the injury, you can't just jump to that conclusion.
You can't just sign another Pulisic. I know Pulisic doesn't play the same position, but basically it's the same thing. Someone gets injured, you don't know how injured he's going to be and how long he's going to be injured. So injury is injury, and so no more Kounde. Go get somebody else. What?
Again, I know
Delight?
we want him. Some people still argue he comes to Chelsea, but we don't know the severity of the injury. But before we get further into that, I want to get Tobago in because he joined because he said he wanted to ask a question, and I've decided to limit the panel to always 6. And there are days also I'm still structuring that we only have one-on-ones, only one the host and one guest at the time, but mostly will be 6 panelists at the same time. So Tobago, you go ahead, shoot your question before we go back to the Kounde topic.
First of all, big up, guys. And then again,
Tobago, can you restart? I want to hear you say, to be honest.
To be honest.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead. That's Tobago talking.
Again, I've been seeing people everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, saying why Chelsea can pay players and stuff. Remember, FIFA introduced a new loan format. And then we have 47 players on loan. We need to ship them and sell them and keep those we can keep and loan those we can loan before we buy another players. And also we need to register almost 25 players. We need to register 25 players in a league. So we need to be careful.
We have quite a lot of work to do.
Exactly, before signing new players. So this we need to be patient, guys. Only 4 days before the transfer market open, we need to be patient. And also and then you are talking about Lukaku deal. Remember, coach, you talked about him. This deal won't be done overnight. Chelsea said they need to it should make a business sense until they let go of Lukaku. So anyway, whether Lukaku goes or it doesn't go, I don't care. But I want him to go, actually, because it's not good for him anymore. The fans are tired of him. He needs to go. Hopefully the club will find a solution. But again, if the club can't find a solution about Lukaku, we have to stick with him. Also, guys, please, let's be patient. We just came in now. We are sanctioned, and people are saying, "Hey, Man City got Haaland, Liverpool got Nunes." Yes, because they're not sanctioned. They already have funds to do everything. So us, we are sanctioned. We need to be careful, putting the board on pressure and buy players, and then we end up crying. Why did you buy this player? Why we couldn't wait? They need to structure everything until they find the right players. So, guys, be patient. Be patient. I'm done, guys.
Yes, I thought you had a question for us.
Statement.
Are you there, Tobago?
That's like an order.
Yes. And I just wanted to make a statement.
Okay. I think Tobago, I think he's spot on. We need to be very patient. I think we seem to have forgotten that we were under restrictions, which didn't allow us, to put pen to paper with even, wrap up the signing of a player. If that's maybe simpler to understand, we were allowed to talk to players, but we're not allowed to get them to put pen to paper and say, okay, we signed this particular player or the other one. And the transfer window just opened a few days ago. Again, that's 4 days ago. So again, I think I'm going to say in terms of our impatient is something, Roman spoiled us so much. He spoiled us so much that now we've learned we cannot be patient. And again, we want everybody that's available every good player, so to speak. So I think we should learn to be patient truly, and we should pay attention to what Petr Cech said. He said specifically, he lives on the phone. It's going to be a busy transfer window for us. I don't even expect him to say, okay, we're already working on stuff. I think to him, I think all he did was try not to give away anything. But at the same time, he's letting us know that they are hard at work behind the scenes. And I truly do hope that's the case. I truly do hope maybe I'm not just consoling myself some way because it's only natural. Humans do that all the time. But I do appreciate that input from Tobago. Now, I'm going to go to Bobby. Your thoughts on the Kounde situation. We don't know the severity of the injury. We have to be honest, first of all. But what's the name of the French national team? The Champs. He said it's an injury he's been nursing. I don't know if it's right to phrase it like that for a while now. And there are people saying that Chelsea, that they have always been aware of that. And somehow also there are reports saying that Chelsea knew all the while, and that's why they have too many options for that position. So, Bobby, your thoughts?
Well, you've just said it, isn't it? You've more or less just answered your own question. From what we've heard, it's a known injury. From what we've heard, surgery was always something that was going to happen somewhere along the line. I don't know how serious it is. It doesn't sound like it's excessively serious. It sounds like something that he may be able to do now in order to recover for the season. I'm being optimistic, but that's how it sounds. Should we still pursue the purchase? If that's the case, I think we should. If it's, not every surgical procedure of a player is debilitating. I don't know what it is. Some places I'm reading is something to do with his back. Some places I'm reading is something to do with his thigh. I'm not sure.
Bobby, I think we should wait for the January window.
Well,
why is that?
I don't know. I really don't know. Why I am concerned is I'm a decision maker. I believe in being decisive. I think being decisive is what has helped me throughout my life. And as I watch things around me, I think people suffer more from indecision, double-mindedness, and hesitation than they have ever suffered from decisive, positive, active action. Now, this guy has been linked with Chelsea for a very long time. He wants to come to Chelsea. Every time he has performed, even with this so-called injury, he's performed fairly well. Now, if it is indeed that he is a target that we want, go for it. Why hesitate? If it's an injury that can be rectified, so what? Players get injured all the time. He's 22 years old? 23 maximum. He's not an old player that you think, oh gosh, he's injured now, he's never going to recover. He's still at that age of good recuperation. That's my opinion. Now, if it is something that could really affect his game, like if it was an Achilles injury, the sort of thing that Ruben Loftus-Cheek had, then there's room for hesitation. And then talking about, okay, January transfer window or next summer or whatever, that's when you hesitate. But if it's not that severe, I don't think we should hesitate, in my opinion. We can't mess around. All this dilly-dallying, umming and ahhing, chopping and changing, that's not for Chelsea right now. Chelsea must be brutal, Chelsea must be decisive, and Chelsea must get business done. That's the most important thing. There are players there that can stand in for him while he gets fit, get him fit and get him on the pitch, but get him through the door, if he's the player we want.
I do agree with you, but I still say there's a risk there now. Again, there's some measure of advantage with what has happened, but we'll talk about it in a bit. Declan, your thoughts on the Kounde, situation, the injury. Yet again, we don't know the severity of the injury, but the fact that this is an injury, that has been nursing for a while now, it didn't just happen. Your thoughts?
We do know the severity of it. You just said it. If it's an injury that he can still play on, then severity is low, right? And it's a very low injury for him to be able to play on and perform, right? And then it's going to be a minor surgery that was put off to the end of the season. And if he's actually performed well with this injury, then you're going to see he's going to be even better, right? And if the fact that it came when injuries can be put, when surgery can be put off, that means it's something small. Could be a little cleanup, very small minor stuff with small recovery. That's the reason why it's put off. If it was severe, right, he wouldn't be able to play. He would have had that surgery already. So the fact that anything that you can put off to the summer, right, or to the off season, it's not severe. So he and Chelsea could actually use that maybe to get more of a discount, maybe, right, as well. So it might actually benefit. But regardless, it's minor, and he'll be in top shape for pre-season or to start the season. So the severity because he actually played with that injury, and the fact that it was put off. So it's not severe at all.
But if it's going under the knife, you'd think that, like you said, that Chelsea might get a discount this time.
Listen, I'll tell you a personal experience. I've done the same thing, right? Not every surgery is a major surgery. I've put off surgery to the off season, and then I've had many knee problems, and they just clean it up, and I could still play with it. It was just that I didn't want to be out, and I left it to the end, and that's when I did it, right? You could do that. They could come in, do minor surgery, can be put off. Not everything under the knife is major, and you can recover. When I did that surgery, I was able to walk straight away from the hospital, right? That's how minor it was. I could have played straight away. Not everything under the knife is so severe. Some things are small. Some things just need little cleanups. Some need just minor repair, right? Where they cut a little bit off some ligaments that was getting locked, and it affects you, right? They're very small. They're very small, and they got small recovery. Not everything under the knife is so severe. So the fact that he did this, I'm telling you, it's minor. Because if it was, there is not one serious injury, right, that you can put off unless you're playing on some major painkillers, like on major numbing your leg, and you couldn't feel it all, and you'll be doing more damage. And obviously it's not that, and no player would even go through that. You jeopardize your own future as well, and not even advised to do that. So this is minor, 100%.
Yeah, let me quickly say something, please. It doesn't matter if you're a mod or who. Again, I respect everybody, but we try to keep it clean here in the chat. Please, can we please watch the language we use? And honestly, any mod that I found using that, like the F word language again, or any kind of, I don't know how else to phrase it, I will demod you. I know it's not paid. I know you're doing that for free. I appreciate all the work you do, in trying to keep everything clean there. But what example are you setting if you're going to be liking, if you're going to be, using the F word, you're setting a very, very bad example. So I don't think it makes sense. Please don't do that. Even if you're trying to use asterisks to complete it, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't help how clean, our efforts to keep everything clean here. And the age is not, I'm not limiting this to just adults. So it's not going to help the channel to do that. It will lead to the content in question to be demonetized. But that's by the way. Now I'm going to come back to the to try and get to the chat quickly. Again, let me see what we have here. Tuchel and Todd Boehly will decide, not us. Tuchel actually has the final say, we're told. So if that's the case, we shouldn't actually worry on whoever he decides to go for. Chelsea fans fall in love quickly, but it hurts us. I get that. RSC needs to go. I don't think it's going. I think the man loves him. Again, especially the fact that he's able to at least play in multiple positions. I think I'll see him more on the right-hand side, start maybe as a right wing back in some cases, but will be invited to support the midfield more often. No matter Kounde's situation, Chelsea is going to sign him. Definitely his price is going to reduce. Exactly, that's the part I like. His price will most definitely reduce. Since, again, we're hearing that the club that are well aware that he's been nursing such injuries. And I think it was Simon Phillips that says that said something like that was why Chelsea had eyes on all the targets and not just Kounde alone. Again, says my brother here says blessings to the channel. Blessings to you, my brother Bobby Fairview. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope everything is good on your end. Nice to see you again, Bobby. Again, says never trust your ex. I know where that's coming from. Thank you, Bobby Fairview. You too. It says Nori Doggy. Again, with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for 105 likes. That's not easy. I'd be ungrateful to never thank you for that. But I know we can do much better. Let's shoot for 200 likes by the end of the show. We haven't done 200 likes in a while. So if you haven't, take a second to like the video. It's for free. Again, if anybody asks you to pay, tell them Sribia had already paid for you. And again, I'm not asking you to donate to the channel. Let the likes be your donation, because the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more people will reach, and the more people will have here, the more the fun the show will be. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and do click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. It's Marina asleep. How is Spurs are picking up Bissouma? Again, I'm not going to blame Marina for anything, because we've come to the conclusions. If Tuchel don't want him, if Tuchel really wants him, I think would have done something by now. And again, it's not over until we see him holding a sports shirt. If you are in the chat, let us know if they've announced him and you've seen him holding the sports shirt. Never trust your ex. I agree. Again, that's a huge comment. Unless your ex is Damien Duff. Yeah, again, I guess I get the argument there. And here's somebody by the name Damien Duff. Yep, that's hilarious. I love to see the chat enjoying themselves and with mutual respect for each other. The goal again, back weekend again. Let me see. Lukaku was a mess. Kind of signing this tendency of buying players that are not needed by the current coach, by the former CFC owners. Again, but I think that era is gone. No more the owner saying they want this player again. But I'm fearing that if Thomas Tuchel, the way Christian Pulisic spoke, he spoke like he had a private meeting with Thomas Tuchel, him saying that the new owners are good people, that he's looking forward to his future at Chelsea, that he just wants to play more game. That tone sounds like he's gotten some measure of assurance with somebody he feels like has the right to do so. And for me, I don't think that sounds like it was the manager, given the fact he said the word he said specifically that the new owners are good people. So I don't know what to say to that. And again, I'm going to go back to the panel. And the question I want to start with this, I want to start with you, Phantom. Tell me your thoughts. If Lukaku stays, how does Thomas Tuchel deal with it? Because the fact is, no matter how we see it, that's a chance he stays.
I think we got to get Martinez if he stays.
I don't know why you stuck with the fan. That's not how it fixes.
Why not?
Just let him land. Go ahead. Tell us why you think so, Phantom.
Why would Lukaku be the same if he has his setup guy? You know, I mean, I know you don't know much about basketball, but
it's not like basketball. That's why.
It's like Stockton and Malone. You know, you have your setup guy, you have your guy who finishes.
Yeah.
Up.
So in if you play, let me give you an example. If you play the system of how Conte plays, so if you see Kane and Son, right? There's your setup guy. Is your example.
Yeah, Human Son and Kane, perfect. And they set up each other. They set up each other too. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's the perfect system based around them, right? But in the Tuchel system, he needs the front three to be what you explained, and that role demands a lot more, right? Especially even at Tottenham, Kane still brings a lot more. So if Lukaku's going to do the same thing he did and wait for that ball, we're going to have the same problem, because it wasn't like Mount and Pulisic or any other player wasn't helping him.
I've got a question. Yeah. Why doesn't Lukaku fall back to try to get?
He doesn't want to run. He doesn't want to move.
Is he just lazy?
He's used to these long balls that were when played in Quinta. He's used to playing on the shoulder bullying that defender, and he's a steam train when he runs into space. No one can stop him. He's great. If we're playing that deep and you find that ball to Lukaku behind the line of the defense, he's a steam train. You can't stop him. When he's running, he's fast, and there's not many defenders that can bully him off the ball. And once he gets it, so when you create those situations, Lukaku's great. But that's not how we play. So it's you take that away from Lukaku's game.
And here's another thing again that I think the term that Ty Talks used for it was that Lukaku, that is, he came to Chelsea with the man syndrome. With the man syndrome. And here's why I think Ty is very correct. What's the Belgian national team's coach? His statement, letter statement confirms it. He came out and said Lukaku just wants to feel important. You get that? So that confirms the fact. The issue may well be the man,
But Lukaku's
not,
play. He's not a selfish player. He will pass it off and let someone else score the goal. He's not a selfish player, huh?
Who is? No, I wouldn't say he's selfish. The selfishness isn't his problem
at all. No,
it's not that he's selfish. No one wants to actually give him the ball because he's not that very good at giving it off. His touches are really bad, and there's a good chance that the ball gets lost.
Let's forget about.
For us, is all about.
Let's do this, please. Let's forget about his qualities. Declan, I'm going to come to you in a bit, but for the people in the chat, again, just give me 1 second. I looked at CFC Fahim's YouTube channel. He was on the panel here with us. And again, I wouldn't suggest any channel that I cannot trust or not being objective. We met as content creators, but now we've become brothers. Right now, he has 954 subscribers. He single-handedly on his own, he's adding videos, clips of videos, and that is videos, highlights of videos. And he's also, produced some great content. He has just a few more subscribers to reach 1,000 subscribers. And I know with those in the chat that we can actually help that brother reach there. So I'm going to share the link to CFC Fahim's YouTube channel. So if you haven't, for you to please take a second to go and subscribe to his channel. Again, let's help him. Let's help him to get there as soon as possible. Again, I would say here is the link. Fahim's YouTube channel. Please take a second to go there and do subscribe to his channel. He's a nice guy. His content is very, keeps it objective, never lies, never clickbaits. Please, here is it. And I'm going to pin it also so that if you haven't, you have the time to go check it out and subscribe to his channel. So coming back to the panel, Declan, you let me know what happens if Lukaku stays. I know you think he's going to go, but what if he stays? How does Thomas Tuchel deal with that situation?
If he's staying, I think Tuchel, actually not even Tuchel, I think Lukaku has to bring back that, like how he started. I hope that he actually says, okay, I'm here now, this is a situation, I might as well play. And we get a better Lukaku just because, for me, I still think that he down tools, not that he's a bad player. I think that he was worse than what he was meant to be. He didn't fit the system, even though when he came, he said he can play in the system. He actually said that from his own mouth, right? I just want him to try. I want him to because our attackers were that bad that even Lukaku trying was probably better, but he didn't want to move after that. He didn't want to link up play. There's a Lukaku when he had a bad time at Man United. What he did for Conte, he got fit. He improved his touch. He spent heaps of extra training. He was the first one there, first one off. The dedication he put at Inter is what was shown on the pitch. He was the best version of himself. But the problem this guy has is that once he reaches that point, he doesn't want to keep trying hard anymore, right? He thinks he's done it all. He thinks he's put all the effort and now he's meant to reap the rewards, right? So that's why he comes here and wants it all his way and all that and doesn't want to try hard anymore. I mean, he gets injured. and he does look a little bit bigger sometimes. He does look slower. I mean, I don't think he puts the same effort that he did at Inter Milan to become great again. And so that's my problem. So I'm hoping that he realizes if I'm going to stay, that he does do the same things he did. He gets super fit. He gets super strong. He does all that dedication that he did when he first went to Inter, and I read about, right? Because he even admitted he had an eating problem at Man United. He had an interview, and he said that he had an eating problem. It's when he came to Inter that they fixed that, and he got super lean, right? So Lukaku actually, in a funny way, but I know firsthand because I got injured all the time, and eating can become a big issue, right? Was eating sounds doesn't people don't think eating issues can affect athletes, but it does. And Lukaku has a big issue with that. With someone with that much muscle mass and that body frame, can easily put on a lot of fat quickly. So it's really important for him to keep lean and the best of his peak. So he would be a better player if he showed that same dedication that at Inter. And I hope that if he stayed, he realizes that this is the situation. Because if not, he's going to sulk and moan and just sit on the bench and collect a check. And he's just going to be a financial burden for Chelsea waiting on next year. That's why, and that could very much happen. If he's an emotional player, like everyone's saying, that could very much happen because, like I said, the road for redemption for him, he's lost the fans. I don't see any more. I've been arguing against Lukaku for this long, and there were so many people that defended him.
How does Thomas Tuchel handle it if he stays, if he doesn't get to leave, if he stays?
I don't think that Tuchel should change the system for him. Is basically it. He has to change himself.
I really declared you're on point today. I really see a lot of value in what Declared is saying. If we find ourselves, and that's another if, one of many ifs, but this is quite a likely if we find ourselves in a situation where Lukaku cannot be sold or cannot be loaned, Lukaku has shown quite clearly that he is a child. He's the kind of player that throws all his toys out of the pram. He's shown that to us with the interview, with all his behaviors. But he's also shown, especially towards the end of the season and at the beginning of the season, that he does have some capabilities if he has application. I agree with Declared. There was a measure of him down in tools at a point in the season because he was so bad. It was just beyond words. Now, if he stays, he has to himself accept that. And I would advise very, very, very strongly that Chelsea hire a psychotherapist. They need to get into his head. They need to get him self-motivated for the challenge. Because there is no way on this earth that Tuchel should change the way he plays for Lukaku or for anybody. He's the gaff. He's the governor. But Lukaku can play the Tuchel way. He's shown bits of it. He's shown it against Arsenal at the beginning of last season. He's shown it in the Villa games where he had some...
I've got to say that's when there's space. And that's not going to be all the time in the Premier League.
I beg to differ. The goal against Arsenal, albeit it was created by Reece James, there was no space. He had to finish it, and he did. The goals against Villa, he created his own space, especially in the away game at Villa. He showed some pace, he beat players, he showed strength, and he scored. So, yeah, he can change. He will never be that good ball player. He will never have that extra touch that we need for this system. But because of his cost, if he's staying, he can be utilized. But he needs therapy. And just as Roberto Mancini said, he's a player that needs to feel he's important. He's got such a big ego and overinflated opinion of himself.
Yes, I like it. You're completing the sentence because that was just. But this is hilarious. But that's exactly the rest of the things he didn't say. But
yeah,
go ahead.
That's it. He thinks so much of himself that this is why he gets angry when he doesn't have his way. And this is where a psychotherapist comes in. If he stays, because of the cost, I think Chelsea would be best advised to get him to see a therapist. I think it will do him the world of good. And then maybe he will recreate some of that dedication. He needs to. I mean, he's at a top club. I mean, why on earth? Look at Cristiano Ronaldo at nearly 38. He's still putting the work in. Look at Thiago Silva, still putting the work in. Lukaku, in the position he plays and at the age he is, he can't say he's arrived. The older you are, the harder you have to work for your fitness. You know, I'm old enough to remember the likes of Gianfranco Zola. Zola came to Chelsea well in his 30s. He was 31. And he played like a teenager till he left. Why? Because he was always keeping fit. He was always coming, training. He really put the graft in.
And his love for the game comes first.
There you go. So, you know, Lukaku needs psychotherapy. If he's going to stay, that's the only way. And with psychotherapy, he'll have to withstand the frostiness from the fans, because the way he's behaved, you know, only goals can get him back on side with the fans.
That's right. You know what? One thing I noticed about Chelsea fans is when Lukaku is scoring, we don't hate him. You know, I watched the fans sing his name even after the interviews and stuff like that. But when he started scoring again near the end of the season, all the fans in the area were singing, you know, oh, Romelu Lukaku, you know, Romelu, you know, they were singing his name after he scored. So Chelsea fans just didn't like him not scoring. I mean, if he scores, then
no,
you know,
that's
all
not true. They sing Werner's name when he doesn't score.
Well, in a way, Declared and Phantom, it's quite simple. You know, Lukaku has basically insulted the club. Of course, we're not going to like him. And you're adding salt to that wound by not scoring. At least if you score, you've got something for fans to say, well, okay, Chelsea fans want to forgive the guy. They want to get behind the guy because they want him to succeed. But if he's not doing any of the above, of course they're going to be frosty towards him. Do you know what I'm saying?
You could argue even Timo, who's done worse, but because he puts in the shift, even when he's not scoring. I think the fans are a bit lenient with the way, you know, they responded. They responded to Timo Werner. Again, go ahead, Bobby.
No, I just was rounding up to say that, you know, fans are very simple creatures. We just want success for our club. You know, you can well, short of certain things, but you know, you can commit a multitude of sins, as it were, and they will always forgive you. And you've given Timo Werner as a perfect example. Crikey, the chances that guy misses, you'd want to come and box him on the head. But the fact that you see him always trying and hustling and putting in the effort, then people encourage him. They get behind him. Chelsea have had terrible strikers in the past, and they've got behind them because of that effort. And so Lukaku scoring, the way back is far but very near. If he scores, he will win the fans back. But if he continues not scoring with this sort of behavior, he will just continue to create the gap between him and the fans.
Yeah. So just quickly, before I come back to the panel, I think so Bobby, you don't think it's gonna be a big problem handling him if the proposed move back to Inter Milan falls through? You think he'd still be okay?
Well, it will be a big problem because we have to get his head right. Of course, it's going to be a problem.
Which was why you suggested him seeing, should I say, not shrinks. What term did you use?
He needs psychotherapy. He needs something to get him in the mood, because you know he's burnt a lot of bridges. I hear he's been traveling to Italy to try and force the move. So he's obviously mentally convicted to moving, and if it doesn't happen, he's going to need a lot to get into his head to get him back focused on Chelsea.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Let me quickly catch up on the chat. And first of all, I want to say thank you to 113 likes I hope I'm correct. Again, I essentially do appreciate that. That's not easy at all. You guys are absolute legends. I cannot thank you enough. Again, I said for this channel, again, I'm going to repeat myself. You don't even have to donate. All I ask of you is just like the stream. Just like the stream. The likes alone are, will do it for the channel, because the more you like the channel, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more people will get to participate in the show, and the more people that participate in the show, the more the channel grows. That alone is enough. You don't have to donate. Your participation alone, your support does go a long way. But that's, by the way, Triblu says, sorry, no like from me today. No worry, keep your like. Again, it is for free. If you feel like you want to like, that's up to you. Tuchel may not want Bissouma. So why is Marina's fault? Again, I never said it is Marina's fault that we can't get the Bissouma. Like I said, if we really do want Bissouma, you would hear about it. So that very much before now. Again, the argument has been he has a situation that he has to sort out for something. And some reports, what they had was that Bissouma and Sangare were both options. And that's in case if Chelsea cannot get Rice. And as it seems, maybe West Ham sensed it, that we have options that we may well go for if they don't reduce the price. And that's what we're hearing. That Declan Rice's price has come down to £75 million. So that's it. But again, you can keep your like, make a meal with it, or maybe buy something with it. That's your choice. Like I said, some boys like to blame ladies for their issues. Again, I get the argument, and it's become unnecessary to start, referring or using the terms we're using here. I don't think it's civil, but again, we just present your counter argument, and that's fine. Just to do if struggling. Your boy says again, sounds like a conversation. She needs a deal to make one love. Again, let me see if there's anything else. She walked out on Kounde deal because they want us to take us for a ride, and that was nice. But I think my argument now, should we still go for him? It depends on the severity of the injury. But then again, we're hearing Chelsea knew about it all along, so it's not a big issue, and it's still young. I think he can recover from it and come back even better. And a few weeks, actually, we're hearing, except if we hear something different, he's been able to play with it. Maybe it aggravated during the game. That's why he went out. Again, let's say 2 more likes. And I think I'm way far too behind. I'm going to skip a few and get to the bottom so that whatever comes in, I should be able to read. And sorry, apologies if I skipped a comment, but be calm. Very soon we will have a studio engineer that will be highlighting this comment for me, and it will be easier. Our transfer business is lagging. The market is passing us by, while our opponents have been decisive in the market. CFC2 region and approach to market rebuild versus reducing or improve. Shaking my head. When I started reading your comment, I'd ask you for your ID if you don't, make it comical to a certain measure. But you made your point is clear. Your point is clear there. So again, I sincerely do understand that. So I know worries. And then Chevron give us. And then please again, if you do like the video. The more you like the video, the more people we can reach. Again, as I said, you don't have to donate. You don't have to super chat. You don't have to do anything money. Just like the video. The more you like the video, the more people will be reached. That alone, your support alone, is huge for the channel. So keep liking the video and keep subscribing to the channel if you haven't. My analytics shows that around 80 to 90% of those that watch the Blue Morning shows are not subscribed to the channel, and we can actually do better than that. I said, so Tottenham now getting the Brighton defender too. I don't know who's that. What is Chelsea doing? I'm sure Tottenham will be finishing ahead of us. Again, you have every right to feel concerned, but I think we'll be all right. We'll get our own businesses in, and chances are by the time we look at the people we're getting, we'll go, wow, we're actually better off. There's a chance that happened. I am amazingly opinionated. Just check my Twitter. Oh, you tell me about that. I've seen quite a lot. But opinion, we are all entitled to our opinions. It's a free word. You have every right to express your opinion. but we have no right. We have no right to, like, if somebody expresses their opinion, we counter their opinion with insult or name calling. I don't think it makes sense. The best way to counter opinions is just present your opinion. It's as simple as that. We and myself need to relax. Yes, we need to relax, and I'm happy you admit you're not relaxed. It's only natural to be concerned. If AC Milan comes for Lukaku, Raphael Leon, that name, why, Damien Duff, why are you putting me into trouble? I find it very difficult to say Raphael's, the Portuguese international's last name, but I think that the kid is a fine player. I think the buyout clause at this moment, I think it's around 140 million, but I'd say he's worth it given, his capabilities. But it remains to be seen whether we're serious. Rumors are that we're looking at him. And I don't think AC Milan would give you Raphael for Romelu Lukaku, even for plus cash. You know how much you'll be adding to it for them to take him. Again, it says, you boy, TT chose all start making suggestions. He may have talked to players still on international duty. He may not want Bissouma. Again, that's just the simple truth. But that comes down to if what we're told is the truth, that he's going to be the one pointing and saying, I want this player, I want the other player. Again, says, let's be honest, the only way for Lukaku is down, which is rather unfortunate. I wouldn't say that. Is Lukaku a good player? He's a good player. Does he fit the way we play? I'd say no. So, again, a new owners, new path, that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Whether you like it or not, again, we have to learn to live with the new reality. I don't think Todd Boehly will be the type to throw money at problems like Declan will put it. Again, the truth remains, he's going to be, like he said, he's going to spend, but he's going to spend sensibly. Even now that we know he's allowed to spend a certain measure of amount, that huge huge amount of money, because it's categorized as investments. So that would be an issue. He still want to, based on data, spend based on data and sensibly. Again, that's just me saying that about trying to find a way to blame Marina. Again, that's her opinion. Refusing, I get that, brother. Believe me, but maybe I read it the way you wrote it. Again, that's your device trying to help you finish your sentence. So again, I'd say, like I usually say, smart devices and smart after all. I'm going to come back to the channel, to the panel, because if I try to read, I'll read till the end of the day, and we will never come to the end of the show. I'm hoping Max joins us soon. He asked for the link, and I've sent it to him. I think he said he'd be joining in 5 minutes. Now, coming back to the panel, here's something else I want us to talk about here. I hope to find that one. I think it's this one here. Let me see. Yes, from Absolute Chelsea, a potential move for Wolves defender Ryan Ait-Nouri. I highlighted this name because I couldn't pronounce it. Would depend on Marcus Alonso's future, but Alonso wants to leave. Bobby, I want to get your thoughts. Do you know this player this well?
I can't say I do. I know him, but I've not paid any attention to him, to be brutally honest. I'm slightly exhausted by all the speculation, what ifs, and then, they end up going somewhere else, or we go somewhere else. And this is the frustration of this time of the season. And a strategy, what has disappointed me, I have to say, this week with the Todd Boehly group, is that because of the uncertainty and because they are new, they need to make, although the week is still young, they need to make or bring in at least one person that would signal their intent. Sometimes intent is part of your solution. When you do that, and clubs like it can work both ways depending on how much you spend. But if you do that, then clubs like West Ham, as I've said, will understand that, look, if we are going for Declan Rice, we're not afraid to turn elsewhere and get another player in. It's the complete sort of almost silence that I don't think is helping us. But, it is to be fair, very young in the day. Is very early in the transfer market. My concern is not even the fact that we still need to be a bit patient. My concern is losing out on certain targets that aren't easy to come by. 25 million for a player like Bissouma, who has all that Premier League experience, it's not going to be easy to come by at all. At all. People talk about Sangare and all that. This guy's not proven in the Premier League. He's playing in PSV in the Eredivisie. So these aren't opportunities you pass up. And if that deal isn't done, I think Chelsea need to go in there a bit aggressively and try and outbid Spurs to get him over. Yes, I understand the argument that it's the same as Kovacic and it's the same as Kante. Yeah, maybe, but he has better defensive qualities than those two. And it's get him in, than not, in my opinion.
Yeah, let me quickly, Declan, before I come to you, I want to go to Max because he's most likely at work. I don't know.
Well,
You're what today, Max?
I need to leave.
Yeah, I've only got a few minutes because I've just...
All right, no problem. So, Max, your thoughts on this player here? Do you know him too well? Reports are that we're looking at him in case Marcos Alonso leaves.
Oh, the Wolves guy. I think he came in from France. He's a promising left back.
Promising.
Good. Yeah, he's good going forward. He's still a bit raw being young, but I think last season he had a good breakout season with Wolves. It'll be a good backup. It'll be a good backup for Chilwell, I think, because he's coming of age now, and he'll be coming relatively cheap. He's on the books of George Mendes as well, because Mendes because when he takes a player, he usually takes players who've got potential to move on. So yeah, he's he'll be a good buy for us, I think. Yeah. Just a couple of quick things because before.
Yes, I know you always listen. And Max, I can't thank you enough for all the support. I sincerely do appreciate that. Go ahead.
No worries. First of all, I was listening to you guys talking about the Kounde injury. Nothing to worry about because I saw on the Sevilla website that it is a minor operation on his hip, I believe. So he's not. It's got as I think Declared was saying when I was listening to it. It's the fact that he was able to play on with that injury means that it's not a bad one. Yeah, otherwise he'd have had to have surgery straight away. So, like Declared, I've had operations before, or keyhole surgery and all that sort of thing, and you're back playing within a few weeks or so. So I think when our fan base are going on, why haven't we signed this person yet? Why have we haven't signed that person yet? Sometimes there's some context behind it that we don't know about. So that's why we need to remain patient when getting a player, because obviously the club are probably going to be having a look at what happens after the operation before making this. Obviously, he couldn't take his medical if he had an issue with his hip. So they're going to wait until that's cleared up, have his medical, and he'll probably be joining later. And the other point I wanted to make was what Bobby was saying about the Lukaku situation, and I just want to bring it back. I saw something the other day with Didier Drogba, and when he came to Chelsea, he was experiencing the same problem. He wanted to be the main man, and he went to Jose Mourinho and said, "Look, at Marseille, I was the main man. I want to be the king." And Jose Mourinho's response to him was, "Well, at Chelsea, there are 22 kings. So you just have to be part of that team." And the penny dropped with him. So, Lukaku needs to realise that when he goes to a big club, then he's got to be a part of the team. He's not going to build a team around him because, if he wants to be a big fish in a small pond, then by all means, go to Everton or West Brom or, even at Milan. I'm not saying they're a small club, but at Milan, the team was built around him. So he needs to be able to adapt. But it's also, I think, it's a two-way thing as well because it's the manager. The manager also needs to make him feel loved and wanted because one thing Mourinho did have is that psychology thing. He made everyone feel special. You know, the likes of Frank Lampard, he told him he's the best midfielder in the world, and things like that. So he makes you want to play for him. Conte's the same sort of manager. That's why I think Lukaku played really well for him, because he spent time with him. He was like a father figure to him, because he's always spoke highly of his relationship with Conte. So that's the one area I feel for Tuchel that he needs to improve on. I think is the way that he manages his players. I don't know fully how he does, but sometimes to me he has that tough love approach for a lot of players. Because obviously you saw what happened with him that time with Callum Hudson-Odoi when he took him off after he subbed the sub, didn't he? When he didn't follow an instruction. So sometimes you need to sort of try a different, because some players can, it's a stick and a carrot, isn't it? Some players can respond well to tough love. Others are a bit more sensitive and fragile. They need the arm around the shoulder. So it's looking at each player's personality and sort of adapting your style to that. Because as I said, managerial is all aspects. It's the coaching side of it, and it's also the psychological side of it as well. Because Klopp does that well with all his players as well. He knows the things to say at the right time to get the best out of his players. Pep, you see it. Sometimes you see him. Sometimes it's for display and effect. I saw him having an animated conversation with Sterling on the pitch one day, and I think that's sometimes just to get the message across to some of the players. So it's just finding that right balance.
And please, just quickly, I want to tell the people in the chat, can we start, please? I'm seeing comments, and the way it's coming across is just accusing somebody something that that's not okay. We're not here to accuse anybody of anything. It's just not right. I don't condone that. I don't like it, and please let it stop. Again, like I said, if somebody present an argument and you think they're not correct or you don't like it, present a counter argument. It's simple as that. Let's stop going into blaming people for something. I don't know where that's coming from. That's really not okay. That's really not okay. Please, can we just stop that? So, Bobby, just while I'm still with you, Max, I know you're going back to work. Quickly, again, what do you think the likelihood of him joining Inter Milan? If you think, then what do you think happens? How does Thomas Tuchel handle it if he stays?
Yeah.
I'm asking Max. Bobby, I'll come back to you because I think he's out.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. If he has to stay, obviously, we're not going to be held to ransom. So, we're going to have to get some sort of money back. We can't just give them away on a free. This isn't a charity shop at the end of the day. And the fact is that we still owe them money as well. That'd be more for liberties. We loan them for free, and we're still paying them for a player. He doesn't play for us anymore. So we're going to want to get the best deal for him. If it doesn't work out, then he's got to realise that he's going to have to be part of the squad. I wouldn't, and I know I heard some people saying, they're throwing in the reserves and all that sort of stuff. That doesn't do us any good, because you don't want a disgruntled player around, and the atmosphere would just be around the club would just be rotten. And again, we're going to have the same sort of issues as last season. The fan base isn't going to like it as well, and so he'll just need to, manager and player would just have to come together and find a solution to make it work. He's got to, Tuchel's got to say to him, look, you're here now. Nothing, you couldn't get that move because Inter didn't give us the terms that we wanted. So you got to stay here. You got to show that you want to be part of this squad now. You got to buckle down and just play. Lukaku has to perform. It's a World Cup year as well. He's got to get minutes in the team. So if he sulks around, it's doing him no good for preparations for the World Cup in November. So he will just have to get down and play. And you never know. Even if he does stay, things may turn around. Most of us have written him off, but a new season, a new start. All it takes is for him to start the season positively, score 2 or 3 goals, and confidence. Don't underestimate confidence when it comes to an attacking player. So if he gets that confidence up, then things may turn around. We don't know.
Yeah. Again, I thank you very much for finding the time to join us on the panel here, Max. Again, always a pleasure to. I know you're always listening, like you've told me, and I sincerely do believe that. So thank you for finding the time to join us. I don't know how much time you have.
I need to go now, Chid. I've got a call.
Okay, thank you very much. I
appreciate
appreciate your.
These are key Burton ballers.
Okay,
yeah, thank you very much.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so coming back to the panel, Ty, quickly, and before I do that, I'm going to say thank you for 123 likes. That's not easy. That means the world to me, and we still have around 90 people watching. So if you haven't, please take a second to like the video, and also please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and be sure to click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. I'm going to come back to the panel in a bit, but I'm going to see if there's anything to address here. And right now, I think for the remaining few minutes of the show, if you have anything you'd like us to address, please do let us put it in the chat, and we'll try to get to it as soon as possible. Decisive is good, but cannot be that in ball love. Julius Amoy says, okay, talking to Tobago, you're in control of your own life, but don't consider 100% of millions of fans. Again, that's it. They have to. That's the truth. Everybody have their own life. Between there will be news coming out about Neymar to Chelsea. If now about to Chelsea, right now the news hasn't been put out. Can you elaborate on that? That's an interesting one. We've talked about it here, and our conclusion was that it's not feasible given his wages. Again, the way he plays, whether he'd be suitable for the Premier League. It remains to be seen. Okay, let's see if Sean is correct. So again, please keep liking the video, guys. You guys are absolute legend. Thank you for 123 likes, but we can do much, much better. Says no, but wouldn't happen. Yep, I've talked about that. Just telling you never know. Club has big plans, and Neymar likes playing for Tuchel. There's a counter argument to that. Yeah, there's a counter argument to that. There's where a video that True Blue shared here with us once. He shared the link in the chat where Neymar was practically enjoying the news. He was celebrating the news that Thomas Tuchel has been fired. Say again, Sylvia says, I agree, he does, but you could be right. You never know, but I don't think I see it happen. Again, I say, True Blue, Sean, it was mentioned 2 weeks ago. We'll see what happened. 106 likes. I think I'm far too behind. So I'm probably going to skip to the bottom and then try to catch up with everything else because I just can't not. Too many comments, lots of fun in the chat, and I sincerely, I think I learned about it too, and I'm not sure what happened. I think it was his decision to do so. I think so, given what I read. But again, I'm going to go to the bottom of this whole thing there and come back to the panel. Ty, you have anything else to add to everything you heard us talk about?
I just want to add to what Burton Ballers was saying, and the example that he gave, about what, and I saw that it came around, and I think Drogba mentioned it recently after he learned about what was happening with Lukaku, and the thing is with the fact that him saying that when he first joined Chelsea, he wanted to be the main man, and he expressed that to Jose Mourinho, and Mourinho telling him that there's 22 kings and there's no player who is supposed to be the team being built around. Each player plays for a story. So I think with that it would have been easier to mend the relationship. But and probably back then you didn't really have the media where you can say I'm gonna just set up a meeting with her. The only difference and the contrast to that is the fact that he went there, he said things that he didn't even have to say. He was nobody led him to do that, and he decided to do it. I mean, there's a possibility that he stays because like I was saying earlier in the stream as well. At the end of the day, everybody you're trying to sell, there's always a possibility that they remain at the club, and we've seen that a lot, especially with players that we wanted to offload for a long time. So yes, there's a possibility that he could stay. If he stays, a part of me wants to say that he doesn't want to be here. What's the point of him being in the squad? But I'm not sure if in terms his exit plays a role in any target that we want to bring in as a replacement. So I think if he doesn't leave, then that probably would cause an issue. And then you never know. The only thing we possibly do is sign inside forwards. I don't like to say wingers because I don't really think we really use wingers anymore. So inside forwards and players that could actually accommodate it. I'm not really sure what we do with Lukaku with that because I don't really think he should just walk back into the team after the conundrum that he's trying to bring up. So I'm not sure about that, but I think if it comes down to the fact where he can't be sold because of the sole reason that Inter Milan indeed decide that it's Dybala or Lukaku, then I don't know because there's no other club who's gonna realize kind of what they're not gonna know what the club is gonna really come in for him to in a sense where they're gonna say what he's a good player, let's just go in for him because they're gonna always consider the fact that without anybody really causing any disagreement with him, he's gone out and expressed his love for his ex club when it wasn't necessary, and he could have waited until his career ended to say that when I was at this club, da 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 da. But I mean, it's not something good, and I mean, it causes a really huge issue, and it did cause an issue after it came out as well because we saw that he was dropped. The team was played with more fluidity, and I mean that's what always happens because when you do have a number nine there, it allows you to be able to have less predictability. If you have a striker up top, the difference is going to say, you know what, if we block him off, we basically pull off their focal point. So when you have a false nine there, they can go wide. You can have your midfielders coming in, and we've seen that a lot, especially with Havertz. You see Kante playing higher. So I think with that, it reduces the chances of teams knowing what you're planning to do. So yes, that is the issue. And I mean, I'll always say that, the Lukaku signing made little sense to me. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, you know what? I always said that we should sign a false nine, try to find some players that would actually benefit the false nine system because we won the Champions League with it, and we even won the Super Cup with it. So I mean, it's a case where, for me, I think we wanted a striker. I said, you know what, we can't get Haaland, we're going to go for Lukaku. I was really hoping that that would have worked out in a sense, but I mean he's made it difficult for it to work out for one reason or another. I don't know why, but I mean if he ends up staying, I know fans don't want him to be in the squad, but you never know. We may be forced to do things that that we don't want to do and possibly have to use him. And I don't know. I don't think any PR apology will work this time around for the fans that
I wouldn't say it wouldn't be wrong to say it's beyond repair. Again, nothing cannot be fixed. Apologies and goals. Chelsea fans will be willing to accept apologies in terms of goals. Let's see what happens. That my hope, honestly, is that we find a way, to get him to leave the club, because it will be good for him. It will be good for the club. But it's a difficult. It's going to be really, really difficult. Let me just phrase it that way. Bobby, I hope you don't mind me going through the chat, and I'll come back to you in a bit. Okay, I'm guessing he heard what I said, so I'm going to try to catch up with the chat. The Right Honourable Sir Corgimon says, has Lukaku left yet? I will make a call in a few minutes, and I'll get back to you. I cannot give you the answer straight away. He says, same thing with Pulisic. He also don't get much play time, and he's a great player. That's the truth. Again, you could argue we have quite a lot of good players who, I think my only concern for most of them, I think game time, I think given that we have a large squad, most of them played enough. They all take the opportunities when they were given the opportunities. I'd say no. I love Christian Pulisic. I'm an American. I'd like him to do well. But again, he really didn't take the opportunities he had under Thomas Tuchel. I think, for instance, he had two high-profile games that you could argue was, the perfect audition for him to show, hey, here's what I can do. And had he done well in the 2 games, leading up to the Champions League finals, or a few games before the Champions League finals, that he started for us, he would have been undroppable. Had he taken those opportunities, shown Thomas Tuchel, look, this is what I'm able to do, he would have started the Champions League final. But in those games, he really sucked. As much as I love him, and as much as because I'm an American, I like to see him do well, he didn't take those opportunities. But is he a good player? He's a good player. And again, he's a big game player. You could argue that too, because he's done well in some big games he's played for us. But sometimes when you expect him, to come out guns blazing, he disappoints. And again, but I think we should still keep him. He's still young. We must not forget that. We must not look beyond his age and start, saying some of the things we're saying about him. He's a fine player overall. Similarly, not the right. I agree. New American owners expect to see Pulisic more. Yep, that's for sure. They understand he's more than just a footballer for the club. It's business. And plus, he's good. More importantly, he's a good footballer. So those 2 factors are the reasons why it will be really difficult for Christian Pulisic to leave the club. I hope he stays, because I think it's one that if he leaves, the most likely destination may well be, one of the most likely destinations may well be Liverpool, and we're not going to like that because he will be a different animal there. The thing with Lukaku is that he didn't, welcome in the first. He didn't feel welcome in the first place, so it's hard to get the best of someone when he doesn't feel welcome. Mahmoud, I disagree with you. Lukaku started very well. He started very well. And you can see one of his celebration. Again, I'm able to read the lips and stuff. Yeah, I'm not perfect at it. He was saying that he's back. I'm back. Tapping on the badge. And then he got injured. He came back, and then he was down south ever since. And then at some point, we thought he was back. So again, it's hard to actually. I think the truth is, Lukaku's Chelsea second stint needs. It needs a review. The way you review matches. I think I'm going to do a show with that where we review his second stint. And again, I'm going to repeat myself, something I've said a million times. Is he a bad player? No. Why hasn't he worked well at Chelsea? I don't know. And in fact, the truth is he's a top goal scorer. But I think the only issue is that he hasn't lived up to, you could say the hype or up to expectations. He hasn't done as well as we expect him to do. So again, that's another argument for another day. But I think I'd find some great minds. Let's do let's review Lukaku's second stint at Chelsea so far, because that's a chance. I'm using the word so far because that's a chance he stays. Again, let's see what happens. It says the love making propaganda out of nothing. They love making. Again, I don't think he didn't feel love. No, we loved him. People loved him. Even those that wanted Haaland first loved him. That's just the truth. Supported him again, and he started well. And I don't want to talk about that again. We're England, dude. Move on. Again, it says missed a super chat. Did I really? Okay, I will look for it. Let me just find it right now.
Fourth like $4. That's what he said in the super chat.
Yeah, let me try and find it. And that's what happens because I am the only guy here. I'm the only guy here. Again, sorry, because I skipped quite a few to catch up with the chat. I don't have a studio. Yeah. Again, this is a Phantom of Many Talks promoting, when he liked the stream. Again, I love you, brother. Thank you very much. And like I've always told you, again, you don't have to, but if you feel like, I'll take it. And thank you very much for the donation. I do appreciate that. I prefer people liking the video than actually, donating. But thank you. It's not easy. It's never easy. Again, it's your hard-earned money that you're donating to the channel. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Sylvia, it's no competition, Queen. Don't worry about that. Again, it's a gift, and I appreciate it. Rice for 75 million. Broya on loan for 2 seasons. A fair deal to them. Is that what you're hearing? Let me know. So I'm going to see some people here. Manny says Bissouma is going to Tottenham. Yes, we've talked about that again, and that has annoyed us so much. Coachila, I told you 100 times, read and digest. Where did I say? Again, I did not say, you also read, pay attention to what I'm saying. I did not say, you said I blame Marina. Listen to me. Let me say it again. I did not say at any time you said you blamed me. Yeah, you said I blamed Marina. So pay attention. If you're saying pay attention to what you're reading, pay attention to what I'm saying. You're misquoting me here. Again, it's all love, by the way. Thank you for all your support. I have to say that when 3 of the best defenders ask the boss, make Terry the captain. Okay, that's a conversation. One of my first shirts was the 1970s FA Cup again. Bissouma has a massive legal battle and a question mark on character. Might explain why CFC passed on him. Bobby, you want to talk about that?
That is an interesting point. I don't think anybody that keeps raising this point really understands the details of this.
And how Chelsea operates.
I don't think it even has anything to do with how Chelsea operates. You know, if he was indicted to that extent for that accusation, he wouldn't have been playing over the season, in my opinion. I don't know enough about that.
But he still has to go to court, to court. But it was just like 2 weeks ago that we're talking about. He has to go to court.
Yeah, but
so they say not guilty until proven as such.
Well, look at the Man United player that was implicated in sexual crimes are viewed quite seriously, and if there was,
is it a sexual crime?
That's my understanding. As I said, I don't know that much about it, but I think it's related to something like that. And if there was truth behind it, I think he would have faced a suspension, but he's been playing all season. I don't know what you know about it, what other sort of crime there is in and around that, or accusation, or what. So I'm not sure of the depth of that sort of accusation. That's why people are still going to buy him, because he's been playing. He hasn't been suspended.
And they will probably do their research.
Well, yeah. Now, if he had any other sort of discipline issues, I haven't heard of it. I think it's just people trying to find a reason why we didn't go for him. And fair enough, there must be a reason. Either we didn't want him, or we're just slow off the mark. I don't know what the reason is, but it seems almost too late now. So I've kind of moved on from that. I always prepare myself for the next phase. And the next phase is, if we don't get moving, we really have to prepare ourselves for the worst.
Ty, your thoughts on that, Mikel, delicious comment, because it's really delicious, because it makes sense. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, if Staff was here when he still comes to the channel, he'd say stop calling it delicious. It's not cookery. But go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think so. And I think what Bobby just said makes a lot of sense, because it's not like in the case of he used the example of the Man United player. You could also use the Man City player, who I heard that there were some new things about that. It was a case like that, he would have been suspended, and the fact that he was playing means that it probably wasn't taken to that level to say that he should be prosecuted in a sense for this, or put under some sort of probation, so that wouldn't allow him to be playing. And I mean, that is probably one of the sole reasons why Spurs were able to go in for him, because I'm pretty sure there's more than enough clubs that were interested in him, especially for the low value that he has money wise, and and as a result, that kind of probably set a probably uncertainty around him. But I think it's not like that. I don't think that's one of the reasons why they didn't go in for him. I think it's just a case where they have their main target, and their main target isn't Bissouma, so they're waiting until things are able to move smoothly to make that decision.
Yeah, and Ty, it's okay if you have to excuse yourself to take care of anything. I understand. It happens to me too. And coming to you, Bobby, this one from Liam Lane, I think we'll let the chat drive the conversation until we come to the end of the show, which is in a few minutes' time. He says the one thing that has surprised him the most is that the new owners didn't have a press conference, whatever, ease the fans' worries somewhat. Yeah, we had the touch of what he's saying. I think a press conference would have been nice after the takeover. What do you think, Bobby?
Excuse me. It's irrelevant. I don't think it has any relevance. Looking at
and by the way, bless you for the sneezing.
So looking at how I perceive Todd Bowley in particular to be, I suspect at some point he's going to say something, but at this point, what does he have to say? There's nothing to say. They need to just get on with business. I'm not into, this is what I loved about Roman. Roman wasn't into all these sort of public displays and declarations and explanations. The more you explain, the more you have to explain. In this country, we've just had the 70th Jubilee, celebrating 70 years of our Queen being on the throne. And one of the strengths of her longevity on the throne and success on the throne was that she doesn't spend time explaining anything to anybody about anything. She just got on with it. And so, I'm for that. I think the Bowley group just need to get on with it. I'm far more interested in the signings they make this summer than hearing any stuff coming out of their mouth about their plans and all that. We know what their plans are. They've already said that. They can save the interviews till later on, maybe when the season starts or whatever. That's just it. I don't see that any value in that at this point whatsoever.
Yeah. And again, I want to say thank you for 129 likes. Again, we can do better than that. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Right now, I'm going to unpin CFC Fahim's link. That's at the very top. I want to share a Thai Talks YouTube channel link because he's been great. And also, even without him coming on, I'd always support him because he's like a little brother to me. If you haven't, please take a second. I'll pin it in a minute. Take a second to go check out Thai Talks YouTube channel and be sure to subscribe. He just passed the 200 subscribers milestone and it's continued to do quite well. So please take a second to go check out his channel. I'll share the link in a minute and subscribe. Ty, if you're still there, let us know about the fact that, what Liam Lane is talking about here on the screen, that he's surprised that the new owners didn't, do a press conference, even to say that the fans were happy this happened. Again, we had some statements released, but go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, the thing is, I think I stepped away for a while, so I didn't fully hear what Bobby said, bro. But I think in the beginning he said that it doesn't really matter, and I guess in a sense I would agree with that because I mean we had other things to attend to other than them sitting down for maybe an hour or probably less, just to say that I'm so happy that we were so and so. They had the statements, and the statements were good enough. Yes, it would have been nice to see and probably in the future we may see something like that happen, but they did have the little interviews. We got statements about it. They expressed their little expectations and what their plans are for the future. But I don't really think a press conference necessarily would have made a difference because even if they had said that we're gonna make choosing to so and so, that doesn't really mean anything until they prove it through actions. And sometimes I'll say that actions speak louder than words. In some cases that's the truth. Sometimes words are probably better in a sense. But I mean, actions speak louder than words in situations like this. And it's a case where even if they had come out and made promises, I don't really think many fans would have still had assurance from that. I think they still want to see the actions happening, see what they want to do with the backing, as people like to say, of Tuchel. So I think it's a case where, even if they had done one, it does make a difference. I think the statements were good enough. And now all we need to do is to look to the window, look into the transfer market and see what backing, quote unquote, Tuchel will get, and which players will he be allowed to get in, and we go from there. I don't think the press conference would have made much difference.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ty, for that. Again, here's the thing. I think he did more talking when the sell process was still on. Now he's taking over. He's talked less. You get I hope you understand my point now. I think for me, he went to games. Yes, that means a lot to the fans. But I think even a press conference would do the whole relationship. His relationship with the fans a world of good. I like to use the term of word of good, like Bobby usually do. Again, I think it will add to it. He's come out, he's spoken, saying like, "Don't worry, things will be all right." I don't know. I think it will strengthen the relationship. If you ask me, is it really necessary? No, it doesn't change anything. But if it does, it strengthens the relationship. If it doesn't kill anything. But still, I think it will go a long way. Again, that's how I see it. Yes.
Todd Boehly has not said a word. It's a misnomer, even through the tendering process, the bidding process. The consortium made a statement that they had to make about their intentions for the club, but that's about it. He's not really said a word. All those things that people refer to are from old videos he made for his Chicago whatever team. He's not.
Yeah, I think you're correct. You're very correct.
He doesn't.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you're correct if you look at it. But again, I get your point. I still argue. I think a press conference will go a long way. But we've heard what he said. We're not sure if he said it himself. Again, but we'll see what happens. Tripoli says, what wonder happens if Bissouma goes to jail? Again, what if Tuchel doesn't want him? Says, let me continue here. And again, we're looking for something to address because we've come, nearing we'll have a few minutes to round up the show. But if we see anything to address, we are amazingly secretive. You could argue that about Chelsea Football Club. We've operated that way most of the times, and it's worked. Before you know it's boom, somebody's holding the shirt and talking. Big up to the chat, declared. Says a change of ownership is totally different. I get the argument. Says he is a weird, don't want people like that. No respect in the changing room. I think he's gone back to talking about Lukaku, but we had it. Says big up and declared again with the Chelsea fan love. Let me see if there's anything. Dundee again. This is a conversation. If I understand, Tribble was having with Strip Beer, so to speak. Says it's strange we all mourn Tuchel didn't want Lukaku and Saul, but as Spartan of we should abide Bissouma. Again, we agreed. We started talking about it, and then we talked about it and said, okay, wait, if Thomas Tuchel really wanted him, the club would have gone for him. But all indications now is that Rice is the club's priority. But my argument, I think we still can have them both. Again, we have every right to express our dissent. That's just the truth. Blames the fluff. Yep. Again, is there anything else to address? Yeah. If not, we'll call it the end of the day. If you have any question, shoot your question. Lukaku is an amazing player. It's just that English fans always don't appreciate players. Really.
Oh, that's interesting.
Really? Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's a strange one for me, and I don't even know what to say to that. He hasn't got a fair chance to play more at Chelsea. Yeah, okay, that's you're saying the truth here. Tuchel always go for Werner. which is I honestly don't understand how, given his sport performances, at least Werner gives 150% no matter the situation. But that's not the argument right now. Again, I want to say again, thank you for 131 likes. You guys are absolute legends. Keep liking the video. Please keep liking the video. The more you like the video, the more the channel grows. I am even saying it. You don't have to donate money. All you have to do is just keep liking the video. And with that, I want to come back here and say again, thank you for the Queen of All Streams for the donation. Again, thank you also for my brother and friend, Phantom of Many Topics, for the donation. I sincerely do appreciate that. Anything else? Went to America. All Chelsea fans had Pulisic nails on back. A few Drogba and Zola. It is like that. It is like that here. But I'm glad he's a fine player. So they don't just love him for the sake of it. And we all know he's a good player after all. I think, did I go back? I think I may have done that. Somehow I went back. I'm going to scroll to the bottom and see if there's anything to address here. I need to go up a bit. Talking to Mahmoud, you boy. For me, I think I should start from here. It says, you boy says, for me, last summer, port business. If this summer port business, now DOF, who knows? Get Dembele, Neymar, and all this. I don't think that, again, I don't know. That's me. I think Neymar, Chelsea getting Neymar isn't going to be as simple as we think it would be. And yeah, I don't think he has a good relationship with Thomas Tuchel. Forget the rumors he said he would die on the pitch for this man. It's absolute nonsense. I try going to... but again, no Chelsea fan. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Why do Chelsea need to say anything? Again, it says, I'm more impatient than most, but can wait. Yep, sometimes you just have to, all you have to do is just control yourself. Everything will be fine. The fifth stand up, always watching, waiting for an announcement. The Right Honorable Sir Kogi Mont says, I don't think Bolly needs to do anything publicly, but he should work diligently with CSC and open lines of dialogue with fans through the appropriate channels. Again, we don't know. He may well be speaking to some people who claim they represent the fans. You never know. 131 likes. Yep. Much love. And we sincerely do appreciate that. He loves us. He has to give him. We have to give him a chance. The window the domestic window opened just a few days ago. Not sure Tuchel is the best answer for recruitment longer term versus a DOF, but it's an opportunity for him to mold this window business to his philosophy. Yep. And then if he underperforms come next season, no excuses. It depends on how many signings we make in the same window. Gotta go, everyone. Bye, Coachila and the panel. Yes, thank you very much, Just Viola. You know how much you loved here. And thank you very much for not shaming me in public today. I sincerely do appreciate that. So much love from me. Who really knows? Again, Bye, Just Viola says, again, if there's anything to talk, Felix Chelsea about to move from Charity FC to... We'll see what happens. Calm down, people. Just calm down. Bongnally, Mr. Chelsea shouldn't let Aram go. We cannot be caught with our pants down. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. I think it would be best for him to leave. The manager has publicly stated he's not willing to adjust the way we play to accommodate him. So he's better off going where there's a chance that happens. And it's a World Cup year. Again, with that, I want to say thank you very much for everybody. Please keep liking the video. It doesn't look like there's anything else to address here. If there is, we'll do in a bit. We have about 5 minutes to round up. And the poll says it's a press conference by new Chelsea owners necessary. 43% says yes, and 57% says no. So again, it's not really necessary. Action speaks louder than word. They say, I think maybe what they do in the transfer window, I think will be good enough for us. They don't really need to say anything to us because that doesn't change anything. As Sylvia says, keep safe, kids. Love you all. Keep loving Chelsea. Kill the word or just paint it blue. Thank you very much. That's another delicious comment to round off with. Bobby, coming to you. Your thoughts on everything we've talked about today?
Yeah, Coach, it all just boils down to one thing, doesn't it? I mean, we are in a situation where the summer transfers is very, very important if we're going to continue as a successful club. And we need to make moves quicker than, sooner rather than later. Unless there are some surprises being pulled out by the scouting team who are able to pick up gems that none of us know about. The pool of talent to choose from is ever dwindling with every purchase made by our rivals. And I include our European rivals in that bracket as well. If you take away the likes of Mbappe, Haaland, and so on, and the difficulty in getting hold of people like Kane and Benzema, then the level of marquee A-grade strikers has diminished considerably. So I don't want us to be in the position people like Spurs were in the past, where after the big clubs had their pickings, you then go for the rest, which is just dead wood. We should get the top cream of the crop that we want and need. And we've got to make our moves now. Midfield and defense is crucial. Lukaku up top, well, depends. As we've said, if he's going to stay, he's going to need a psychologist. If he's not staying, then we have to move quickly, either to get some sort of compensatory attacker, or stick with what we've got. Fortunately, Chelsea have a wealth of players coming back from loan. I think a number of them will stay back, but they will feed the squad. We still have the left back situation to some extent. We have the right back situation. So there's much to do. And as I've said, speed is of the essence. It's very, very discouraging to hear about Bissouma. I think that's a player we should have gone for. And I don't want us to be full of regrets during the course of the season. And anybody who is anybody that thinks that the current midfielders we have is any kind of solution going forward is deluded.
Yeah, I think you could argue that, because I think, but the fact is the club will be cautious not to let any player go without bringing in a replacement, if you want to phrase it that way. So, Bobby, thank you very much for that. Yeah, go ahead. You still talking, bro?
I was saying, I hope we do that. I really hope we do that.
Yeah, I do hope so too. Ty, your final thoughts on everything we talked about today.
Well, I always say this now, and I sound like a broken record, but it's never easy to go after Bobby. So, yeah, but I mean, everything he said, it is very unfortunate, with Bissouma. He's a quality player, and would have been a bargain signing. And according to the price that has been given by West Ham for Declan Rice, it's using pounds per se, when they change the currency from euros. That is 5 times less than possibly Rice would be. And for a player who has had more time under his belt in terms of playing games in seasons, it would have been nice, because he offers a lot. And yes, like Bobby was saying, we have players in some sense where they Kovacic, he can dribble, he can make passes. Kante, he can win the ball back. But with Bissouma, you would have gotten both. And that means that, Kovacic or Kante isn't playing, that you're not really losing much, because that would mean that you have one player who can do both, and then you have another midfielder beside them. That's if we choose to continue with the double pivot, that can, at least have freedom, and they can rotate between themselves in terms of who goes up forward, who stays back. So yes, it would have been fortunate, and to me, the signing made so much sense. But I mean, I've seen where there's a lot of signings that made so much sense for Chelsea to make, and we haven't done that. Obviously, people say Martinez. He was probably the more feasible one to probably try to get, because he's probably the piece of the puzzle that really helps Lukaku at Inter Milan. Taking off some of the pressure off him as well, in terms of scoring goals. And I mean, with the contrast at Chelsea with Werner, we tried using both of them together. Lukaku, in the beginning, I remember that he worked against Aston Villa and he scored that goal from outside the box, past the goalkeeper. He works in that game. But when you have Lautaro Martinez versus Werner, it's not the same because at least Martinez was scoring goals for Inter Milan and actually assisted them. If Lukaku stays, we have to find a solution. We have, and like Bobby was saying as well, he probably have to get a psychiatrist, somebody to speak to him, try to to give him some level of counseling because obviously he's pushing for a move. And if he doesn't get the move, he can be sulky. He can become very toxic. He can be filled with a lot of anger. So it would be important that we find some intervention in a sense to prevent that if it's a case where a move isn't possible. It's unfortunate that this is what has happened. It's surprising that he's come on and done this because I thought he had passed that immature stage, but clearly he's still doing some immature things, so I'm not really sure about the maturity level. And I mean, with everything else, I mean, with Kounde, people are really, 50-50 about it. Some people are saying that if he's injured now, should we still be going in for him because things like this, things like that. But I mean, and it's come on. I even said it, when the news came out, I said if it was a serious injury, I think Burton Boys were speaking about it. If it was a serious injury, I'm pretty sure that the club would have lost interest a long time ago, would have been linked with other players who can play on that right side, who's also versatile, who can play as a right centre back and as a right wing back. So we would have heard more news about that. But the thing is, they knew about it because they were informed because this is something that has to happen with a transfer. You have to find out about their fitness level. They have to find out about their injury record. You have to do this type of research before you sign players. So when it came out about it, and that is why one of the reasons why we weren't hearing so much about the Kounde deal, we always hearing about Dembele this or this player has been added to the wish list, things like that. Because they're trying to find the best solution, saying that now that he has I don't want to use injury because it's just a surgery to correct something that he's had an issue with. They know that this could assist their bidding situation of wanting to get him in and probably minimize that price a bit lower because the thing is we know Kounde wants Chelsea and Chelsea wants Kounde now because it's pretty clear that they're not losing interest no matter what, and they wanted him since last summer and they're not easing up about it. So I think people need to will be relaxed. I said this the last time in Hala ex Hala, and I know we're seeing other clubs and particular London rivals making signings close to making signings as well. And so far, the only thing we look as if it's a done deal right now is getting a 19-year-old goalkeeper. But I mean, planning for the future is also good. And I mean, Chelsea are giving some news in some level, or probably they didn't really give that news out, but they're doing something. And I still do believe that they're doing things behind the scenes, and they're being quiet about it because when they're being quiet about things, it can help you because when clubs are seeing that they're in for this player, they come in for you. And I mean, I want us to go back to the summer of not two seasons ago, where we just saw an announcement coming out of nowhere. Ben Chilwell has signed, Thiago Silva has signed, things like that. I want that to be it. I want us to be secretive about it. We were linked with players, but we didn't really, go in for those players. The players that we weren't really informed of, probably Havertz and Werner, probably were the two ones that were really coming out. But we sign players in secret, and that's what we need to be doing again, because that's the only way that we can actually get targets and minimize those risks of teams coming in last minute and robbing us.
Yeah. Again, Rodrigo is just joining us right at the minute we want to end the show.
You're about to end. No worries, man.
No. I can get your thought if you want. I can get your thought quickly, but it doesn't matter. Again, here Sibia is cracking me up with the comments for the person that's spamming the chat. He tells her you're slightly late. And again, I'm going to catch up here. Mikhail here with another, again, delicious comment here. Transitional call in midfield. If nothing changed, Bobby did talk about that in our midfield. Expect similar issues in coming season. Glasses, again, speed, build up, and of all attacks. And then chance creations too. I know Declan argues on sixes and tacks were creating chances, but they can add to the number of chances we'll create if they're creative enough. even from deep. And Kovacic is a proof that that's even possible. Again, of course you do. Says Kante did win Golden Boot. Again, this is nobody will be complaining about Bissouma if we get Rice. That may well be the argument. There are for some people. For some would say I think would be better off with Bissouma, and Rice will never be sold for more than 80 million. If that's the case, then Chelsea aren't going for him. That's just too much. Mount is he's a worker. His energy is something that's unrivaled in the team. Mount is Chelsea right in. You could argue that. Question to Chelsea fans: who's the player fans value the most in the team? As an outsider, I'd say Kante. Oh, so you're an outsider. Know why your argument has been everywhere. Maybe you can take that one, Rodrigo.
Yeah, Kante's well, I was about to say our only world class. Him and Thiago Silva are only 2 world class players we have in the squad. Truly world class player.
Mm-hmm. And your thoughts on the fact that, okay, I think we've talked about that before, but here's the question here for you. It says Rice plays for England. How many attacks has he started for England?
Yeah, when you get Rice in the team, you don't really have him to start your attacks. Right, I have Rice in my team to stop, to win the ball, to control the midfield. Again, there's a big question mark on that. Can he really control the midfield? West Ham is a team that play on transition. England are very boring. I don't know what England's style is. So there's question marks on that. I can understand why people might think you pay £100 million or whatever on a player. You expect him for that kind of money. I expect you to control the midfield for us. I expect you to be good, because the issue we have at Chelsea is when we have a lot of possession. That's not an issue. When we have the ball is how quick are we moving that ball to the guys. With the players that we have currently in our team, apart from Kovacic that sometimes try, and Kante is not as accurate as I would like to be. We don't have those players that have. Look at Modric, for example. He picks the ball, one vision, one touch, he releases it quickly. He sees his pass accuracy is always accurate. His forward passing are very accurate. That's what I wanted to say. So when you have a Declan Rice for 100 million, I want to see that. I want to see a player that can win the ball and can distribute and start our attack quickly. I don't know, 100 million is too much. So maybe it's tough. I want to be Bissouma so much. I'm so disappointed, man. I wanted to get
your thoughts for us missing out on him. But you must remember, they say we've been told, if it's true, that Thomas Tuchel is the one that points to the players he wants to bring in. So if that's the case, we shouldn't even be complaining for missing out on Bissouma.
No. That would be purely me on the way I like the player. It won't be a logical thing. I mean, I trust Tuchel. I trust Tuchel 100%. He's far more experienced. He knows football way more than I do. So if he thinks he has another target in mind that will do the job that he wants in the team, then fair enough. As a personal opinion, I wanted Bissouma in our team because I see him as
I do too. We talked about him here.
Yeah. A direct replacement for Kante. So because I don't see Kante carry on for the next, maybe we can keep him for another maybe 2 seasons max, and then we need to phase him out. So having a replacement for him in the team, it would have been good. And for the price that he went to Spurs, we're gonna have a problem next season with Tottenham. I've got that feeling we have a problem there. I think Tottenham are a team to watch. I think we're not even guaranteed top 4 to start with. So I think next season is tough.
Let me get your thoughts on this one before we go. Do you think Lukaku will leave, or do you think he's going to stay?
I think he'll stay. I was listening earlier. You were talking about the fact that I think it's you. You're talking about Inter Milan are either looking at Dybala or Lukaku.
Who comes to them on a free?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They want only one.
Exactly, only one. So logically, if you think about it, the only thing is Dybala is quite similar to Lautaro Martinez, unless they're thinking of selling Martinez. But then again, it doesn't make sense for them to sell Martinez and buy Lukaku when they can just keep Martinez and Jacob. And
they're never gonna buy Lukaku.
I don't
If
think
anything, it's a loan deal.
I think Lukaku, as much as we hate it, I actually came to peace with the idea that Lukaku might actually be a Chelsea player come October the 1st or September the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we all need to prepare mentally. Otherwise, we're just gonna suffer. We need to prepare mentally.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this guy is gonna stay here. Maybe the positive as well is having someone like Dembele. You see, Lukaku plays well with what's the guy, the Moroccan Ziyech. So maybe having a Dembele, Ziyech, maybe we can squeeze something out of this guy. But I'm 60% sure Lukaku will be a Chelsea player. 60%. I put that purely on the fact that Inter Milan would not spend 20 million for a loan when they cash anyways.
Yeah, again, let me say thank you very much. I apologize, I didn't send you the link on time because I didn't see that. I will try the best I can to always send it to you so that whenever you have time, you can hop in. Again, sorry about that. I'm gonna take the comments in the chat and we'll round off with that. We never went in for him, so never lost. Again, sorry, you were saying something?
I was going to say, see you guys. Thank you for having me. Always
more thanks to you, brother. More thanks to you.
Thanks to you.
Again, that may well be the case. We may not have gone in for him. There's a chance because what we saw out there were all rumors saying we have them as alternatives. What do you mean? I think Ray Allen, Sridbia is correct. There's a chance we weren't serious about him. We're just waiting to see, okay, if Declan Rice doesn't work, we'd go for him. But I take him over Declan Rice anytime, any day. Again, that is me. That is just me. And if the manager says he prefers Declan Rice, fine, let's go for him. Rather have 3 Bissouma levels players than 1 Rice. Again, that's me. Yes, that's the truth. That's the truth. Again, and the player is good. Again, you could call them that too. If it did not come down, I'd blame the scouts if we have anything that says it didn't come down to what Tuchel wants. Again, I'm going to repeat this. If it comes down to, if it is indeed what Tuchel wants, I'm fine by it. But if it's not, that's not okay. But from what we've heard, it may well be as a result of what Tuchel wants. So let's not complain too much. As Samuel Ballard says, who would you sell out of J5 for Kante? Quickly, J5, without wasting time. Even again, I like him too, but I'd let him go. Yep, he'd be here. Again, relax, people. Come on, relax. Who knows? Ronnie Nice Chelsea been sleeping with transfers and all. High time we start signing some else. Again, I think we'll be fine. Just calm down. Just remember, I told you that Mahmoud says Tuchel days are on count. You think because he's not starting Lukaku because you're blaming him for Lukaku issues. Is that why? 5 days. Yeah, is this still 4 days actually? Yeah, you're giving them. You're giving them one more day. Yeah, call it stress. Yeah, I know. So relax, people. So what is should be, but YouTube wouldn't allow it. Again, I think that with that we've come to the assign Kounde anyway. We have world-class medical team. I think we're still gonna get Kounde. And that's a report saying Chelsea are still talking to him. Tom Golubivar says and sign Koulibaly. And I centre back, we're not really sure who we're talking with. Yeah, add another year to contract. Ike Icy says if we go for Rice and Phil, Chelsea board will be on the chopping block. That may well be the case. I agree. Chelsea was waiting for the international matches to end so the transfer talk can begin because they don't want to sign injured players. Again, another example of what True Blue has always talked about here. What if, for instance, Jules Kounde's injury is a serious one, like an Achilles heels injury, then he gets injured and we've already signed him? What happens? We can't do anything but take him if we've already signed the deal. But his case is different, though, but it just highlights the importance of what True Blue has always said here. And with that, we've come to the end of the show. But still, if you haven't, please do like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And thank you again for 130 plus likes. That's never easy. I say thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to Tom. Thank you to Sridbia, the queen of all streams herself. Thank you to Ike Icy. Nice to see you here. Hamstring isn't that bad. Thank you to Mikhail for finding time to join us I appreciate that. Thank you also for Queen of the channel, Just Viola. I can't find his. There you go. Nice to see you here, Liam Len, and everybody else. And thank you for Titus for finding time to join in the panel. I'll make sure to provide your information within the description section later. With that, we've come to the end of the show. I think I'm going to do an evening show today because the rumors are heating up and I need to stay up to date. With that, I say thank you very much for another great show. God bless us all. See you all later in the day, and bye.